We have Zoro versus Shanks.
Yeah, it's not every day you see a Shanks. Like,
Not every
I would say
day.
see what you can do with it.
I'm kind of curious too. You do not know exactly what they can do. So we're just waiting here to get started officially. It is officially 10 o'clock. They may begin once time goes up. Let me just go ahead.
Any moment now.
Yep, just for everybody's info of what Purple Shanks Leader does. I'll put it up here for you guys. I'm going to revolve around those purple film cards that came out with that starter deck.
Mm-hmm.
Players are just setting up right now, and then we will begin with our round 1 feature match. So it looks like we have players here deciding who will go first. Let's see. Got an 8 for Zoro.
Oh, he's rolling for him.
Oh, I believe
That's
so.
Good.
Okay. I'm not too certain who won the roll.
I don't know who is the first or second. We'll find out. We'll find out in just a moment.
We will find out in just a moment. So
I would naturally assume if Zoro won, he will opt to go first.
Yep.
Because, being a Zoro player, sometimes they prefer the first blood. They want to be as aggressive as possible. Oh.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Apologies for that. All right, so we're going to begin here. They should be good to start now.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Zoro player did win the roll, so he will be going first. And we see him here doing a powerful turn 1 play with the Nami, top 5, grabbing a Straw Hat Crew. One of the best turn 1s I think Zoro could potentially have into any matchup, really.
Yeah, Zoro has no particularly bad matchup per se, but they have really good matchups overall.
Yeah.
Especially towards slower decks, Zoro would generally be able to rush them down before they're able to set up.
It will be kind of tough here. I'm not too certain what this Shanks deck does have. This could be a starter deck with just pure cards from the starter, or it could be a modified one. But that leader effect seems very powerful of just buffing up your board by 2k. If you can get the board stacked, it seems very, very good.
Well, without spoilers, right? Without spoilers, they do play very good cards, but let's see how these cards are able to handle Zoro rushing down. I have his deck list in front of me.
Yeah, so here we go. Another 5k swing here, trying to pressure the hand, getting cards out of there.
Yeah. The 5k swings are the sweet numbers. He's going 6, leaving 4 up. It's a tell. He has a 4-drop coming down.
There we go.
That
I'm
is
not too certain what that 4-drop does. We
we
will have to see here.
I mean, it's not normal. You don't normally see people play Shanks overall.
Let's see what that could potentially be. It looks like it is.
It is. Oh my! I can't.
Looks like it is this card, a 4-cost 5k that ramps on play.
Yep. 4 cost Ein on play, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck, and rest it. It's a rested Dawn. However, it does not have any counter, which is why you don't really see it in like other purple decks as well. And we got a pistol coming from Nami. Will you use it right away?
I don't know. It depends. He's not under immense pressure to where he needs to KO that 5 cost. So I think we could just get in larger attacks here. Since he's tapped out, he doesn't have access to event cards, which are going to essentially lock it up here, right? So Zoro's biggest weakness is events that stop bigger attacks. And by the opponent being tapped out here, he doesn't have access to some of those event cards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. We got a 5k Nami swing. Another counter. 6k Zoro swing.
Another 6k here. So you see Zoro leaving 1 open here. I'm kind of curious what it could be. He's at 5 life, so Rad Beam is just a 2k. And really, it's just... It doesn't seem like it's that powerful, as opposed to keeping another 2k in hand.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a 6k Ein swing.
And yep, there's a Rad Beam there. Easy 2k.
I guess he's just maximizing what's available in his hand and Dawn, but it is really awkward to drop it so early.
Yeah, for certain. It seems that dropping it that early, it means it's a lot weaker in the later half of the game. And now you see that Zoro just dying to a 5k swing. I wonder what his hand is. It means if he left 1 open, he has a little combo power in hand. And we see that Guild to Zoro coming down. One of the better cards from this starter deck. It's going to allow him to draw 2 cards.
However, we do know there is a pistol in the Zoro's hand, so he's just going to pistol it.
That is correct, the pistol here, but it's forcing that pistol to come down, which might be something that the Shanks player really wants. For those of you joining us, we have Purple Shanks versus Zoro. And I think that the Shanks player has 2 or 3 cards in hand with 2 Dawn open. A lot of potential to just KO an attacker or KO something that might come down.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping for the Shanks to win. That's just me, because I like to root for the underdog.
Exactly. I'm in that category as well. And here we go, a 5k swing of Zoro on lead. Interested why he's not putting Dawn on the leader, though. One of the best parts is buffing up the board, but maybe he has other plays.
It's likely because he's probably using his 7 Dawn total on something else, 4 on the pistol, leaving... Oh, there's the pistol.
There's pistol there. And then we have 4 Dawn open.
3 left. 3 left for, I'm assuming, a Robin play?
Oh, maybe... Yeah,
yeah, it is a Robin play.
Yeah. So definitely a good setup here, clearing that Guild to Zoro and setting up a Niko Robin. And Niko Robin is just one of the most dominant cards, I think, in red that they have access to. Being able to come down so early and just dominating the board state is something that a lot of decks don't have access to. Of course, in green you have Okiku, but I think this card is just phenomenally better.
It is definitely extremely
well. And you have...
It's a strong card.
Yeah, and you have the Shanks player playing Douglas Bullet.
He pitched 2 already. That's his third. It's on play, -1 Dawn. Rest up to 1 opponent's character costs 4 or less. In this case, the Robin. So he can attack over it.
There's just so many interesting cards that I have to put up here.
Yeah, you don't. This is not something you normally see.
Yeah, this deck, and I believe that's just a 2-cost blocker that came with the starter deck.
Correct. Is 2 costs. No, that one's not a blocker. That one's not. That one's has an active Bane effect. Once per turn, rest this character. You may trash 1 film type character from your hand. If your opponent has more dons on their
Field,
Everyone
then
has
you...
more Dons
Oh, you
cards
get
on
2.
their field than you. Add 2 Dons from your Don deck and rest them.
Wow. That card can come very impactful for going first against some of these decks. Just a very powerful turn 2 play of just ramping 2. But it also is good later here when you have to use your Dawn for effects that you need. Minusing Dawn, and you don't have a lot of ramp access in the deck. This card just helps you catch back a lot quicker compared to paying 4 for something that just ramps.
Yeah, this is... instead of paying whatever amount of card, it's paying 2 and losing 1 card from your hand. So essentially it's losing 2 cards because it's only 3,000 power. 3,000 is not that high. It can get beaten over quite easily. But it does look like he's prepping up for a minus Dawn play for the following turn.
Absolutely. So let's see what the Zoro player is going to do. So we're at 9 Dawn. The most typical play that Zoro can make is dropping this 9-cost Newgate that buffs the leader, and it'll be a very powerful swing. But there are a lot of bodies on the board for the Shanks.
Yeah, and Shanks does have the effect of minusing 3 Dawn all film-type characters, I believe,
Yes.
get plus 2,000.
He's going to buff up that board, and that can be a lot of lethal swings coming at the Zoro player here.
Yeah.
There is a lot to think about. Let's see what he's going to do.
If you can get like small characters, like 3,000 characters, being able to swing for 5,000, that's big. Oh, it's put it on the Zoro, so that means we will not be seeing a Whitebeard play this turn.
Yep, and there's a 5k swing with that Nami. I'm assuming at the leader here, trying to pressure that hand size. It looks like the Shanks player does not have that many cards in hand.
No, he doesn't.
There he goes. He's pitching 1.
He's chipping cards out of his hand at this rate, and if Zoro has a rush the following turn, it could be lethal.
Yeah. I think that if we put the Shanks player down to at least 1 or 2 life, we can develop a board and overall just swing in. And there we go. An Otama here. Is this Otama Jet Pistol or is it just Otama Vista? I think Otama Vista makes more sense here from the point we're at. Ooh.
At this point, yeah. It could be an Otama to reduce one of them and then attacking over.
Oh, Thunder Bagua.
Oh, Thunder Bagua.
Plus 4k.
And does get the extra Dawn since he does only have 2 life.
2 Dawn here. Or 3 Dawn playing Zoro, excuse me. Swinging, it's going to be a 6k swing if he chooses not to put Dawn on it. So, yep, a 6k swing. I don't think there's Dawn attached to that Zoro.
And going over the Ein.
Going over the Ein. And we have a development of a Chopper here.
Chopper, 1 left, 1 Dawn open.
And 2 cards in hand. I think the Shanks player has done a great job of pressuring Zoro as well as not giving them a lot of cards in hand. One thing that a lot of players do is they want to race Zoro and give them more cards in hand, which is just a mistake. You want to limit their card size in hand. That way it makes their options limited.
Yeah, but it looks like he's not putting any Dawns on at all. He's just attacking.
Are we going to see
Zoro.
a Douglas Bullet come down here? Oh, Beardy World. What is this?
And leaving 2 open with 1 card in hand.
For those of you that have not had the pleasure of playing against this card during OP-02 pre-release.
That card has won so many games in OP-02 pre-release.
Being a 800k or however many k power that is. And that card is a bomb. It could be a very good finishing swing here if the Zoro player gets down to 0. And I think he's looking up the card. Yeah, I think they're looking up the card.
Yeah, look out to see what it does. It doesn't really do anything yet. It does something later, though.
Oh, man.
The power of this card is insane later on, especially for a final swing where you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Here we go. The Zoro player going to 10 with 1 card in hand. This looks like that maybe if he doesn't clear the board here and Shanks can live, there is potential that Shanks can win on the crackback. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. Zoro's at 4. Yeah, that's not happening. Maybe if there's like a trigger play a card or something. during the battle. So like if there's a trigger in life that says play this character, there's potential that he could win on the crackback here. A lot for the Zoro player
Wait,
to think
so they
about.
have 2 cards in hand. I thought he had 1.
He
Had
drew
2.
for turn. Well, he
Yeah.
had 2 at the start. 2 at the
No,
start
no,
of.
because
Oh,
when he placed it down on the corner of the map, it was stacked together, so it looked like there was 1.
okay, yeah. So we'll see here. Do we swing the board or do we go face a Zoro? And there is a potential talk here to just win the game of Zoro, right? We have 3
Yeah,
bodies
there's
on the board.
definitely potential.
Leader swing, that's 4 attacks. He's at 2 life. We only need 2 to connect.
3.
Or I'm sorry, 3 to connect. Thank you. I don't see where Zoro wins. It's potential. If he has a Makino or something, he can get very big swings in off the Nami, the Zoro, and the leader. It could be potential. He could also just clear the board as well, which might be a better play. Set
I
up
don't
for next
think
turn.
the Zoro's winning this turn per se. Maybe the following turn.
Yeah.
But this turn is definitely not happening. The risk in trying to go for it this turn is way too high. Oh, he's putting everything on Otama. The Otama's going in.
A 4K swing here with the Otama with what I can assume is going to be at that 2-cost card. Not familiar with the name. He's thinking if he wants to go more.
He's debating on it. It is.
And I think he's
Arena.
going to go.
It goes 5K, it looks like. That's that 5K?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 5K. I have no idea where it's going to, though.
I'm going to assume the Karina. And oh, it was
that
at life.
He takes a 5K swing. That's
Same.
interesting.
I mean, from the Zoro player's perspective, you're not really losing the next turn. There's no like surprise rush cards in purple other than Queen. But this is also a so putting to 0 here.
7K swing. So don't you just slam everything on the Zoro then?
You could. There is talks about it, but maybe you could, and he might get out of it with an event card. Yeah, so we see him using that Bagua there. And he could just, if he has a Makino or Magura, this is, so this looks like it's going to be lethal with the Nami. Plus so 3 there.
6 right now.
Yep, that'll go up to 8. So if he has 2 2Ks.
8K swing.
Let's see.
And that is...
Oh, that's 2
double
Shiki.
Shiki!
Wow. Double Shiki to get out of it.
But, like, he...
I don't know. If he has a rush card in hand, there's very few rush cards in purple to begin with. So...
I mean, there's only one that I can think of right now, and that's a Queen. But I don't think he plays that Queen.
I think we're just... Now we're killing the board here. Maybe developing a blocker. That way we're not dead, guaranteed.
Well, and the starter deck. But, like, I don't think he's playing that either.
Right.
He's going for the clear.
I'm here to see... So yeah, I think we clear board here. If we have a blocker in hand, it's going to help us immensely, and we can pressure life here.
He definitely needs more than one blocker.
Definitely needs more than one. Or a way to get rid of that Magura.
That's blocker number 1.
The Uta blocker, and I think he's just passing with a bunch of Dawn open. So
yes, he is.
If Zoro can get down 2 very big swings that procs the blocker early enough, he could just win the game here. It's very likely. 1 card in hand for the Shanks player. It's not looking too good.
Is it just 1?
I think it's either 1 or 2. I think it's just 1, yeah.
It's just 1, all right.
So...
If there's a rush, it's game.
That is true. There is a rush. There is game. Let's see what he's doing here. A jet pistol. Wow.
Oh, that's lethal then.
And yeah, that is going to be
that is lethal.
Wow.
Yep.
That is going to do it for us, or for this game here. Shanks losing to Zoro, not being able to get out, and also Byrndy World not swinging.
Yeah, he could not get those blockers early. If he had his blockers early, he would have been fine, because then the Uta can just minus on rest another character that's less wings coming in from the Zoro player.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back for those of you that are with us. My name is Niko, and I'm joined here with Human, and we are going to be watching an exciting match for round two. We have Magellan, Caleb playing Magellan on the top, and Mitch playing Whitebeard in the bottom. As
So
opposed to what Whitebeard it might be, we will find out in the beginning turns or so.
yeah, we'll be seeing which type it is, whether it's boat beer or straw beer, and maybe even a hybrid of both. But from perspective of watching other people play and playing the game yourself, I've seen Magellan being the counter to Whitebeard. Like the best counter possible against Whitebeard would be Magellan from what I've seen. Could be wrong, but we'll see how it goes. Especially the character Magellan. That is literally why it's so good against Whitebeard.
I will agree with you on that one. Having played Whitebeard for a long time, especially Strawbeard, I found that Magellan being the toughest matchup out of everything. Having access to cards like Hell's Judgment, as well as Little Sadie creating immense pressure on turn 2, you have it being a harder time in general. Also, that 5-drop Magellan, like you mentioned, just setting you back a Dawn is very important. It's very powerful when you're trying to set up plays for the following turns. When you're trying to play a specific curve of a 4-drop into a Luffy, and Ace, and Whitebeard, setting them off one Dawn might have to change their entire thought of what they're going to do.
Yeah, and if you have a second one, that's 2 hold-ons. At that point, you're essentially, all right, this entire game, I'm not playing Whitebeard because it's never going to be able to come down.
Exactly. That is a very key point. Having 2 is incredibly powerful. We will see if that comes up during this match. And for those of you that are unaware, I'm going to throw up what Magellan does. So, Magellan, if you move a Dawn from anywhere during your turn, return it to the Dawn deck, your leader gets plus 1k for the turn. This is very good offensively against Whitebeard. Not having to commit Dawn to your leader for a 6k swing is very powerful. And combined with that 5-drop of just basically subtracting a Dawn from your opponent, you're losing one, of course, but you're also ramping cards off some of your characters. So we're going to see how this goes today, and I'm hoping that we'll get an entertaining match for you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for how this match will turn out. I'm at this point, because of what the matchup is and how the meta is, I believe Magellan should be able to take it off the top, but you never know. They may not even draw the Magellan. They may not even be able to search the Magellan either.
Exactly. We have a lot of those types of plays. I think that seeing Hannibal is going to be a very good turn 1 play if the Magellan chooses to go first. We'll have to see who won the roll, and there might be potential where Whitebeard will go first in this meta just because of that 5-drop. Yes, you do set them back a Dawn, but it does allow them to set up for a curve for a turn 2 or a going second type of curve. So we'll have to see who won the roll here, who's going first. But I think Magellan is just very favored in this matchup due to that fact of subtracting that Dawn and also having cards like Hell's Judgment, which will help immensely with some of these larger swings coming through.
Yeah. While Whitebeard does lose a life every single turn, here you want to be as aggressive as possible. You want to be able to, you want first blood. So, like you said, I do believe going first is better for Whitebeard in this scenario. So you can get the first attack in, start chipping damage in, and send them back. So that, all right, I'm gonna hit you so hard that you cannot play your high cost cards without possibly being punished.
Yes. That is how the Whitebeard player should approach the matchup, playing every single card with Rush, turning it sideways so the turn it comes down, and trying to pressure that life as much as possible, making it so you have Magellan with lower amounts of cards in hand and less actions they can perform.
Oh, so it looks like Magellan is going first.
It looks like he did miss on that Hannibal to search for that. And you have Whitebeard here just passing with 2 Dawn open.
Yep. As expected.
Oh, we do not know. He could be on the typical Whitebeard Pirates. He could be on Strawbeard as well. Usually Strawbeard won't have any turn 1 plays. The Whitebeard deck, though, the Boat Beard, as some people call it, looking for that boat to just kind of pressure. And you have Magellan here swinging 6, pitching a Vista to 7.
We still can't tell which deck because Vista has played in both.
And we have a Domino coming down. That is a 2-cost blocker impelled down.
Yep. Get the early blockers in, so making an opponent, all right, either play your Vista now or just get blocked. That's all I can say. Just get blocked or play your Vista.
Yeah.
It's,
So this line of play here of holding 4 open makes me think that he might be on Strawbeard, but if he drops an Atmos, that would confirm that he's probably on the Boatbeard build. Let's see what he's going to play now.
there's the
And
block.
there's a Luffy. So I will say this would be Strawbeard based on some assumptions, mainly the Luffy coming down there. These 4-drop vanillas, they were overlooked at first, just based on the current state of 5K leaders being the main thing. Now with Whitebeard, it's just a perfect fill-in for most of that that curve.
Yeah, it's a perfect curve. And even for 5K leaders, just putting one Dawn on. Oh, there is the Magellan #1, -1 Dawn in each. And Magellan does get the extra boost. So he's now 6K leader, going for a swing, and setting Mitch back an extra Dawn.
Oh, and Mitch has to pitch a 2K here. That is very unfortunate, and we'll see what happens here. If he has 5-drop Luffy, this could create enough pressure of 3 6K swings on the second turn, or the third turn. This might be too much for Caleb to handle.
Even then, it's actually not the worst, because now Caleb can actually play another Magellan afterwards.
Right.
Let's keep going at it. There's 6K #1.
This is going to eat a lot of cards out of his hands, or a lot of 2Ks. We're going to see.
Either you're taking life or you're taking cards out of your hand. Gotta pick.
Like
there's a 2K.
Sasaki.
There's the Rush Luffy, like you said.
Yep. And this is exactly what you want to do as Whitebeard against this deck. Create an immense amount of pressure against the Magellan player, trying to punish them for tapping out for some of these heavier end cards.
But personally, I don't feel endangered when playing against Whitebeard unless I'm down to 2 life.
Yeah, I would say that's
I feel I am sweating once I'm down to 2 life.
Oh, do we have a trigger here? What could it potentially be?
The triggers I can imagine are Shiki, so trigger play to get the to play it, or even
Bagua, right? If they play Bagua,
there, the swamp to get your Dawn. If you need the Dawn?
Yeah. Now the issue is this Magellan is swinging for 6, which makes it halving. So, yeah, you have Whitebeard here pitching cards to save his board. Typically how it should be. They want to defend their... And there is a second Magellan. This is absolutely punishing here.
Magellan #2. So leader Magellan's going 7K now.
This is going to have to eat a 2K out of hand if he has it. And he does.
Yeah, that is the 2K. Strawberry has a lot of 2K counters.
It does.
And I mean a lot.
So now we're at 6 Dawn. We could just swing up the board and swing massive numbers at our opponent. He only has 4 cards in hand. I wouldn't hate here seeing 3 7K swings, and that might be a better play as opposed to playing another Luffy and just swinging 6s. But we will see what happens here. And I don't think you can kill the rest of Magellan this early.
Yeah, definitely not. If you kill, the moment you kill that rest of Magellan, like sure,
yeah,
take your Dawn away. Worst case scenario, what you could do is always just go for leader, swing for leader, just constant swings at leader, and then kill the Magellan.
Life. And are we gonna play another Luffy here? That would be my best guess as to why we're swinging 6s here makes sense if we're gonna play another Luffy.
Yeah.
And we're going down to 2 life.
6, 6, 7, 6, or 6, 6, 6, then 7.
Yeah. Or he might leave one open in case of a crackback swing, because you are going to 2 life, and there are 6K bodies on the board. It could be that. You do have a lot of counter in hand, though.
He's taking them all.
Yeah.
Is that another Luffy? That is another Luffy. I would assume this Luffy is going for 7K at this point, unless you want to put unless he keeps the Dawn open for the
Rad Beam or a guard point. Any of those 1-cost event cards that just help you buff up your leader to an insane amount. And if we're going
I
to
would
2
assume
here,
Rad Beam. Though.
If we're going to 2 life, I would say Rad Beam would be the best call, right? Because we go to 10 on any of our swings here. It makes a 9k swing or an 8k swing kind of irrelevant. And you see this game just looking unwinnable for Magellan now. You have 3 6k bodies on the board for Whitebeard, 6 cards in hand, and it's just, I don't know what he can do.
He needs to remove those the Stardeck Luffys. They need to go.
They have to.
But that's a lot of cards in his hand. Like he could have enough cards. He could have the counters to get out of this.
I wonder if Caleb took all the life just to refill his hand, and keep it so that he could basically get out of these later swings. But I also don't know, because if you're refilling your hand with unknown cards from the life, you're really kind of risking it there.
It's very high risk.
We will see how it pays out for him.
I'm hoping Caleb needs to have Hell's Judgment in his hand. That minus 3k to 2 would potentially save him, depending on how.
And it might be enough.
He attacks.
It might be enough for him to basically, the Whitebeard player, to try to go all in with some swings, put him down to no life, or try to end him. But Hell's Judgment being a card is just really powerful in that scenario overall.
Mm-hmm. Caleb needs to be able to play down some blockers and be able to keep enough cards to Hell's Judgment. And Mitch being able to have that many cards in his hand, he was all right. I'm just keep on pitching cards, save my Luffy. Yep, there's a 1k.
And there's a 2k.
Okay.
And there's a 7k swing. Or yeah, that's
no,
7.
that's still a 6k swing.
A 6K,
no Dawn
I'm
has
sorry.
been removed
yes.
yet.
6k.
No Dawn have been removed.
Very confusing when the bottom leader is playing Whitebeard and a Dawn that is 7, but 6k swing here. Probably just trying to get as many cards out of Mitch's hand as possible to try to gear up for a lethal swing on the following turn. Because Mitch isn't going to be at 9 this next turn. He's going to be at 8. Meaning that, okay, letting that Luffy go, that is very powerful here.
Interesting. That's actually quite interesting. I was not ready for the Luffy to go there.
Yeah, we're in. He has to play a blocker now. I think playing a blocker here like Queen would be very powerful. I don't know how much Dawn that leaves him, though. And Mina Koala coming down, leaving 2 open, preferably or probably for Hell's Judgment or for Thunder Bagua.
And Mina Koala is a blocker, and it does have an on KO effect.
Yes.
So Mina Koala on KO, if your leader has Impel down, type add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. It is essentially another Onigashima, but for Impel downs when it is KO'd.
Yeah. So we'll see here. All we need is 1 swing to go through here. And if you're playing Whitebeard and you're scared of Judgment of Hell or Hell's Judgment, you would probably swing 8s, I would assume. That way, if he does minus 3k the attacker, he has to pitch another card from hand, limiting that hand size even more.
Yep. And even then, even if he does have the Hell's Judgment,
the ace.
So we know, so he's not gonna be an 8k swing, and that Luffy will be blockable. However, that ace does get minus 3,000 to 2 characters.
And here we start.
Is he going for the Magellan's trying to remove board? Because he does have the board presence. He has the presence, so if he removes board here, he doesn't care how much Dawn he has left.
Exactly.
He can still counter out.
Right. So we'll see here. I guess it depends really what's in Mitch's hand, right? If he has a lot of 2Ks and like a Rad Beam up, he doesn't need to really hit the board because the swings are going to come through, but it won't matter. He's at 1 life. And we see that block coming early and getting that extra Dawn. That will come in handy for next turn if we need be.
Yep. Let's go another swing. That's a 6k swing. I'm assuming he's going for the board clear first and then go into leader with the last attack.
I would probably take that play as well. Just because if you don't have a very powerful hand against this current board setup, you have to deal with these Magellans somehow. Limit it so he doesn't have that many attackers. Remember, they don't play any rushers in purple, at least in this build at the moment, or any that we know of. So pretty much what's on the board is what it's hacking next turn.
Yeah, and not just that. Like, even if the moment those Magellans are gone, you now have to deal with 4 bodies with just a leader at 1 life.
Yeah. And it seems very, very challenging from that point forward. And we see Caleb here kind of tanking on what he needs to do. And yep, there's a Thunder Bogwa coming down, ramping him up. And now that he's tapped out, can we just go 7-7? No, he has too many cards in hand. Surely we couldn't do that. And yep, we see him attacking that Magellan.
And it's minus 2 dons. I got sure. You can take 2 dons. I'm going to kill you in the following turn, or at least plan to kill you the following turn. He's gonna go for another Magellan KO here. And yep, there's both Magellans. That's 2 more dons. And he does take a life for the end of turn. All right, he's down to 1. They're both down to 1 life now. However, Whitebeard has 4 bodies, so 3 bodies plus leader against just the Magellan.
Yeah, that board is very powerful for Whitebeard. Having 4 bodies is immense pressure. Magellan has to find a way to get through.
Yeah. Whitebeard has been set back to 4 dons and going to 6 the following turn instead. But the amount of don won't matter if you have that many bodies. Blockers needs to be dropped. Luffy needs to get KO'd one way or another.
I think you just have to go after the Luffy here, right?
You just go after Luffy. There's 0 reason to go after life because he's taking that life no matter what the following turn, unless you can rush in right now. But other than that, you just go for Luffy.
And I don't know if a 10k swing is good enough with 1 Dawn open. That is Rad Beam.
Yeah, it's definitely Rad Beam. We need to see some blockers being played. We haven't seen any blockers besides the Minnow Koala so far.
Yeah, there has to be some blockers coming down here, or he is just... There's just too many attacks coming through.
Yeah, it's just...
And it looks like there might be a blocker coming down here. Or is this attaching Dawn? Yep, so it's a 9k swing.
I don't know if 9k is enough.
Yeah, I think you have to go 10 here. Radbeam is live right now.
Yeah, if Radbeam is live, 9k is not enough.
Needs to be a little bit more. At least 10. Right? To get 2 cards out of hand. And it is limiting here.
There's 11.
11k swing. And I'm assuming this is going at ace. Or no, it has to go at Luffy, right?
I still assume it's still Luffy. Yeah, it's 11. So then it will be...
And that is a thick stack of cards that Caleb has just set down. We'll see here. 11k swing. And yep, we're going to see that one for Radbeam plus 4 and
then
a 1k. So I'm assuming that was at the...
Oh, it's at the ace. At the ace then. Yeah. It's not Luffy. At this point, I just pass.
Yeah, leave 4 Dawn open here. Maybe get lucky. Probably have multiple Hell's Judgments. It's not looking too...
If he has multiple Hell's Judgment, he's actually safe.
He is. Yeah, I think 1 doesn't get it done because you just have 4 attacks, and it only gets rid of 2 at most. We'll see here what Whitebeard will do.
Yeah, because Whitebeard is down to 6 Dons. And he has to be able to mathematically get this right. He can split them between 7, 7, 7, 7, and leaving 2 Dons open. which isn't the worst. It's actually not the worst. It might
Right.
actually be the best play possible.
Oh, he's going 6
It's
here.
going 6.
Yeah, and I
Never
think
take the small swings. Never take the small swings.
swings. That's right. Now, the main thing is, can Mitch get out of a turn potentially where, and yep, there's a Hell's Judgment coming down there.
Yep, the first one. It's fine. Just host judgment, do minus. Obviously attacking one plus one other just to stop it completely.
Yeah, and this is the beginning of a safe turn. And you have to wonder, can Mitch survive a 15k swing with the leader? Most times, if you can't, you have to go for game here. It could put a lot of pressure and a lot of potential misplays that can come through with messing up numbers of swings, etc. So we have a 7k swing here. This should be good for 2 cards or a event card out of hand.
Mm-hmm. So unless Mitch had multiple event cards in his hand, I would have just let the ace die.
Ooh, and there we go. That's 2 cards coming out of hand. And we're going to see that Dawn starting to go there. I'm assuming he minus 3K'd on either the leader or Luffy. Those are the only other 2 targets. But
well, he attacks with will tell us what he did on.
Yeah, we will see. Oh, man, this is such a tight turn. Need 4 Dawn on the minus 3K'd body for it to at least be a 7K swing. That is a lot to ask for.
It is, especially in like this where he doesn't have as much Dawn available to use anymore.
I'm assuming he hit the Luffy then, because it looked like he was.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, he's picking up the leader.
Yeah,
it's like he's just touching it. See, he's like, is it a 6K swing or is it a 7K swing? Goes for a 6K swing.
If this connects, I wonder if he just puts all the Dawn on Luffy and swings, but I don't think it is.
I definitely do not do that. The second you do that is an instant. I go 15 at face because you can't get out of it.
Right.
Oh, unless he has no way out, then yeah.
It looks like Caleb only has 3 cards in hand. And
he takes
that life. Maybe trying to bait Mitch here into just swinging out with the Luffy and just simply countering out of it. I don't know, because that Luffy is minus 3 right now.
He picked it up.
Oh,
he's going for it.
So that's a 9K swing at most.
Yeah, 9K swing.
And let's see how Caleb can get through it here.
Caleb needs a card of a counter.
Oh,
there's the Bagua
plus
and
a counter here, which should be there.
I assume it's there.
There it is. Yep. That's a 10K getting out of that attack, passing, and I don't know how Mitch is going to get out of this swing for 15.
I just slam everything down. Right here, just slam everything down. Draw a card, just go. 15.
If he does get to 16, that would be very impressive.
15 swing.
Oh,
and that's it.
Oh, double Seaquake and a yeah.
So it is a mixed version. It is a hybrid version with both straw and the old stuff.
Wow,
interesting.
You will have Magellan taking this game.
Magellan takes the win.
All right, welcome back for all of you joining us today. Welcome to round 3 of CoreTCG Treasure Cup coverage. Today, or this round, we have Ivankov, piloted by Jacob Thompson, the top, and Smoker in the bottom, piloted by Jonas.
So we have yet to see both decks today. We've seen some Smokers putting out work in previous tournaments, and we've seen Ivankov here and there. But both decks does require a significant amount of skill level to pilot properly, in my opinion.
Yes, they both do. You have the Ivankov deck relying on that ability to draw 2 cards if you have no cards in hand at the end of the turn. You'll have to set your top 5 up with cards like Doflamingo and Perona in a way to where you need to know what those two cards you're drawing are. Blind drawing is rarely ever good. You usually want to stack it so you have two 2Ks for the maximum amount of defense you could potentially have
Mm-hmm.
against most attacks. And you also have cards like 7-drop Ivankov, which are going to fill your hand up, as well as deploying threats like the 7-cost Luffy, all of which being the main threat package for this leader.
Yeah, the thing about Perona and Ivankov is you also have to set yourself up to a point where, okay, I don't need these cards in my hand. I don't want to draw these cards, so I'm going to set it in a certain order so that when I play Ivankov, I draw them anyway. But the Luffy that gets played will be able to trash them, and I would never need to see them for a
Yes.
better hand instead.
Exactly. And then you have Smoker on the bottom here. The deck relying mostly on cost reduction to help some of those other cards in the archetype just KO those bodies. So really we're going to want to see here from Jonas's perspective, he wants to see Sakazuki's to help KO those Luffys that are going to come down and apply a mass amount of pressure for double attack as a 7k base.
Yeah. And another thing they want to see is they actually want to see your opponent have a buggy or a Perona on board because now they're one cost. If they're one cost, Smoker can set them to 0. And once they're set to 0, Smoker is now a 7k swing consistently.
Exactly. Essentially here, you're going to want to be swinging 7s at most times against Ivankov. You always want to be able to proc the most amount of cards coming out of their hand and making it so you can set up a better lethal turn with the board already. And yes, both these players are both 2-0.
Yeah, this is table 5, both are 2-0. We'll be showing as many undefeated as possible and as many different matchups as possible as well.
Yes, exactly. So it looks like we'll have here, players are going to finish setting up. And we will begin here with... All right, so it looks like Ivankov's going first. Typically, Smoker wants to go second. Most of its cards are even cost cards, and see how it to play them on curve. And you have here Ivankov playing that buggy, like we talked about. Buggy being able to search the top 5 for an impel down, locking in that Luffy into his hand, which will become very important for applying massive amounts of pressure later in the game.
But because the buggy is play, now there's essentially a permanent 1 cost on the board. With a permanent 1 cost is essentially a permanent 7k swing from Smoker whenever possible.
Yep, exactly right. And swinging 7s is very impactful here, just at Ivankov in general. Pitching the most amount of cards in hand, and they're only going to have 2 cards in hand, meaning that if we can get a 7k swing in, that would drain their hand most likely.
Yeah, and we have the Dofi. He's gonna pick the cards he wants to draw in a specific order, or if the cards are not good, just put them all to the bottom.
Yeah, typically you want to keep them towards the top if they are good, but in some cases you just sometimes have to put them on the bottom if they're too cost heavy or they don't fit with your game plan.
Yeah, and he did put him on the top of the deck in the order he so desires. It's a 5k swing. He's playing a 4 cost, so we're probably seeing either a
a Kuzan or a
Kuzan.
Borsalino.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
so 4-cost Kuzan. That is definitely going to help him try to clear the board. The issue is that Luffy bounces that 4-drop back to hand.
Yeah. 4 is not exactly the best number here because of the Luffy. Like you said, Luffy does bounce 4 costs. And even Borsalino, it's a 4 cost. It does get bounced. So you can only do so much against it. You have to be able to have multiple blockers on board to stop the Luffy swing, or just outright remove the Luffy one way or another.
Yeah. This Kuzan definitely will help, though. The longer it stays on the board, the more value it gains. Swinging 4 and minusing 4 to something will help him clear bigger bodies with like a Kobe as opposed to using a Sakazuki, which sometimes can be better for a Dawn-efficient turn.
Mm-hmm. And there is a 7k swing at leader. Will he take it or will he counter out? He takes the hit.
And going to, looks like 8 cards in hand there. 8, 9 cards. Massive hand for Jonas here going into this turn. And that'll help him so much. Ivankov only has 4 cards in hand. And we know that one is a Luffy.
And yeah, he did leave 2 Dons open, however.
You could see a Love Mellow, or maybe some type of other card there, an event card that'll help him draw or deal with the board somehow.
To my knowledge, many Ivankov players will not play Love Mellow. However, I've seen people tech in the. I'm gonna break. I'm gonna butcher the name, the Breakfast card.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that first word. I just call it Breakfast.
Arbresk Brick Fist. It's a
Yeah,
mouthful for sure. That card
yeah,
is very powerful. It's just a bounce of 4 cost, 2 hand. It is an activate main, however, here, so he would have to do it during his turn. But if he does have the counter open, it does have a trigger to just activate main when he hits it out of life. And now it looks like here we have 5 cost. 5 cost Garp
it's a
coming into play.
Garp. We don't see many smokers play Garp.
Yeah, this Garp deck is... That Garp card is definitely very powerful here. Trying to establish the board as well as having a permanent KO body there.
Yep, and it is an activate main effect. Trash one card to rest this card. KO one of your opponent's 4 costs or lower characters. In this case, the blocker, Dofi.
Yeah, very powerful card here. Just going to generate a lot of value for Jonas. Not having to invest a lot of cards from hand to develop this board, as well as just having it there, right? So if Ivankov doesn't answer this body, it's just going to KO everything. It's going to make
Yeah,
the 10 cost Kuzan turn way better, KOing 2 things as opposed to KOing 1.
yeah.
So
And it's a 6,000 power character, so it's not easy to get over. And it being a 5 cost does not get bounced by Luffy either.
So let's see here. Drawing and pitching a Law. And we have the Ivankov coming down here. Most definitely probably playing that Luffy from hand. And are we going to see a bounce? I think you have to.
You have to. You have to get rid of Kuzan
Oh,
because he
he
doesn't.
didn't.
Oh, so he can actually just off one of the characters right now because the
Yeah, with the Garp.
Kuzan. Dude, yeah.
Wow. This is going to be an immensely slow turn for the Ivankov player. I mean, developing 2 7K bodies seems great on paper, but by not having any way to bounce that Kuzan or getting rid of that Garp, Jonas can just swing, pitch a card from hand, and deal with that Luffy immediately. And he could potentially also just play Sakazuki in the same turn and KO the Ivankov. So a
Yeah.
line here would be swing the Kuzan, -4 the Ivankov. Let's see which one he's going to choose. If he minuses for the Ivankov, I think he would have Sakazuki in hand to try and get through, and it's not known which one got minus there.
Definitely not no, but we're about to find out.
Assuming player, we are about to find out. Let's see what he's pitching here.
He does use the effects. I assume he does not have the Ivankov. Not the Ivankov. The
Yeah. It looks. Yeah. It looks like he's going to use the leader effect here. Probably reduce the Luffy and play a Sakazuki on the board, KOing that Luffy while developing a very powerful board.
yeah, I see 6 active.
I see 6 active as well. Let's see here. 7K swing on lead. And he's going to take that life.
Mm-hmm.
Using the smoker effect on the Luffy. And there is. Wow. And because he had so many cards in hand, he just doesn't have to. There's no punishment here. He still has a massive amount of cards in the hand.
Yeah. It pops 5Ks, 5 costs or less, and because he did get the -1 from Smoker, it does get KO'd.
Still having 5 cards in hand after pitching 2 cards this turn.
He's definitely doing extremely well with hand management. Like hand size management is one of the hardest things to do, especially for black decks in general, because these black decks, a lot of cards require you to pitch cards from hand, and then if you want to defend or counter, then you're pitching even more cards from your hand.
Yep, and we're gonna see here. How is Ivankov going to respond? I would assume his best play here would probably be a Mihawk. And probably trying to get rid of that Kuzan. Oh.
Yeah, that's where I was extremely baffled when the Kuzan stuck on the board. previous turn.
And yeah, I think we might have another Ivankov coming down this turn. This is a 7k swing, leaving 7 Don open in the back row. And let's see what comes
Okay.
down.
Takes out the Kuzan immediately. Just like, all right, I'm not even gonna give it to you. I'm just gonna kill it.
Here we go here. Activating the stage, filtering that hand, getting rid of another stage.
I definitely don't need a second one.
We do not at all. And let's see what's going to happen here. So, yep, there is that Ivankov coming down. I would not be mad if he plays here a crocodile instead. Like a 5-cost crocodile. Crocodile or Luffy.
No, actually, crocodile would not be very good here. It does get -1 from the leader, and then Garp will be able to KO it.
And we had to put down a buggy off of the effect.
Oh, that's definitely not it. Then
you never want to see that happening whatsoever.
That's definitely not efficient right now.
Let's see here what he's going to get. A 2K. Okay.
2K.
Getting a 2K, that's not bad.
What you could do, essentially, with that is play a crocodile and then play a buggy and save 1 Don. But, like, it doesn't help. It really doesn't help there, even if you have it, because the crocodile does get KO'd.
Yeah.
Ivankov at least dodges the Garp range.
Ooh, and it looks like we're just going to see a 10-drop
there's a 10. Kuzan comes down. KO's 1.
Yep. And
Garp can KO but another.
And Garp can KO that Ivankov. And you just see the board here. They're just all going down, getting KO'd, pitching the Borsalino, knowing that it won't actually do anything. The Luffy just bounces it, so...
And Borsalino doesn't need
this board state is absolutely massive for Jonas here. Swinging 7. And I don't know what the Ivankov player can do. Oh,
I don't know either. Like,
going down to 0.
I don't think there's any card in Ivankov's that can deal with a 10-drop Kuzan.
And as soon as that comes down, now all your guys are -5. And that looks like a tap for 9. Did he top deck a Mihawk? I think he did. Huh.
He has to go at the
Garp
here.
Yeah. With 4 cards in hand, it's looking more and more like Jonas can just easily counter out of this and have momentum going into the next turn.
And then I'm expecting like you said, the Mihawk right coming down on the Garp. He has to get rid of Garp.
Yeah, it has to be Garp.
Yeah.
Or your Mihawk's just dead on the crackback. And there he goes. Yep.
Yeah.
Garp is down. And Jonas still just has such a powerful board. And all Jonas really needs is just a Kobe or something. A Kobe plus leader effect KOs the Mihawk. I mean, it'd go down to 3. Really, this
Kobe, Sakazuki, Garp. That's 3 cards that he could have. 3 different cards.
And really, we're just seeing the powerful effects of this 10-drop Kuzan once it's on the board. Once it's there, it's usually not leaving, and it is incredibly hard to push out or even clear it.
Another 10-drop.
Oh man, yeah.
That's oh yeah.
This is not looking great here for the Ivankov player.
See, when I was naming the cards, I didn't name the 10-drop because I was not expecting it. But now, double 10-drop, every single card is getting removed on board. There's nothing that can stop it.
There is nothing that could stop it whatsoever. And now this Ivankov player, I don't know what he can do. He can maybe clear the Sakazuki, but at 1 life, you have to clear Sakazuki, develop a body. You're still not really doing much. And all Jonas needs is just 1 card to KO it. And it looks like here these are just...
This might be it.
Yeah.
We're seeing some phenomenal plays coming from Smoker here, from Jonas right here.
Jonas is making the Smoker deck look really good.
Yeah, he's definitely the highlight right here. Making this out. Even if there's a Whitebeard, double Kuzan, Whitebeard, doesn't matter. It's gone.
And he's pitching most of his hand here to the stage. All those bricks that don't do anything against this. And, playing out a double blocker. We're not necessarily... we're pretty out of it, but 2 blockers, it'll help out a bunch. We have 4 attacks. We just need enough counters to get out of a 9 or 11k swing. Man. Absolutely brutal turn here with the double Kuzan. And I think
I don't
Jonas
know.
is just there doing math right now.
Let's see. Stubble blocker, 2 cards in hand. So he goes 8 at life. Interesting.
If it is 8 and he doesn't block it, that does pitch most of the cards out of his hand. Yep. Now we just swing 11s at him, and one
Yeah.
is going to connect, or 9 here.
9?
Hmm.
I just go 11. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just go straight 11s?
If he does have a way to remove one of the blockers, then I don't see. I mean, I feel like you still just go 9, but if that's the entire hand gone.
Yeah.
Now we
It's
don't
10k.
And yeah, I think he had another Sakazuki in hand, and
Okay.
that's gonna do it.
Yeah, and yeah, that does, it
We don't
makes no
have
sense.
enough blockers here, and
And two
these are
10k
just
swings
gonna
that is lethal.
yeah.
That is game set and match. Jonas takes the
With the
win.
fist bumps.
The double fist bump.
For
Okay,
sure.
when a player gives you a double fist bump, you know he's like they enjoyed it. They
Yeah.
had fun playing their game, regardless of the outcome.
Really glad of that in general. Really glad both players had a good time. So we will be back. We're gonna try and find another match for you guys to finish up here. We have about 18 minutes left in round 3. So stay tuned.
A lot of time.
We will be back in just a couple of seconds here with another match.
Yep, we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to our coverage of the CoreTCG Treasure Cup. I'm joined here with my co-caster Human, and we got a special match for you. We have Luffy at the top playing against Law.
Feels like we're playing set 1 again with Luffy and Law. What do you think about this matchup? Who's gonna take it on top and why?
I think it's going to come down to really the amount of pressure the Luffy player can put out on the Law. So Law does run a lot of 2Ks, basically to counter out some of those 6K swings. But Luffy having that advantage of attaching a Rested Dawn to either a character or leader can allow for some very good, powerful turns of swinging larger numbers at Law, making them use more cards in hand, as well as probably running more removal than Zoro with Niko Robin at 4, as well as Newgate at 4. So definitely going to come down to how many of those early type of removals Luffy can find with the Niko Robin. So
Yeah, for sure. Another thing about the 2 version is back then, set 1, we see Law playing a less aggressive, a more passive version of the deck, of setting up and then going for lethal, like chipping one at a time. Now, this version you have the Zoros, you have Restand Law, you have the Room Law to bounce it back and play another card. Like, there's so much more aggression in the current versions of Law than it was back in set 1. So we'll have to see.
We will have to see what we have going on here. I do agree with you where Law definitely has become a little bit more aggressive. Having access to that Restand Law as well as the Zoros help it put out a large amount of pressure on the opponent while also keeping those blocker laws up. Powerful swing of a 7K with blocker law into a Restand Law can allow for a very powerful turn.
Yes. And we probably will not see Beckman in Luffy anymore like we did back then. We might be seeing more of the 4-cost Luffy now because for the 6K. 6K is king in this
Format, yeah.
meta right now.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Sorry,
another huge thing about playing Luffy nowadays is the fact that Luffy will get a 6K swing every turn.
Yep, it can develop the board efficiently as well as utilizing that leader effect to get a 6K swing in against Whitebeard. So the Luffy into Whitebeard matchup is not as bad as I think it would be as if you're playing Zoro, where you have to build the board up to get those swings in. So here we go, the Law player going second. Typically, what you want most Law players doing is going second. They can play more bodies that way, allowing them to get that shambles effect from their leader to bounce back when they're at 5 or more characters, and to play bigger bodies like the 5-cost Laws.
All right, we got the Dawn for the turn 1 play, followed to get Inami.
Yes, the Dawn and Inami, one of the most powerful plays you could do in any red deck, and especially in Law, a deck that wants to replay its searchers to keep a large amount of cards in hand while developing the board. So definitely one of the best plays you have. I'm curious to see what the Luffy player is going to do here.
Yeah, so he does go to 3. So right here, is your prime timing to play that Niko Robin if you have it. He goes for a 5k swing, takes the life, 3 costs. It is the Niko Robin as
Yeah.
expected.
And I like this play of not playing the Niko Robin first to get the extra 6k swing on lead. Martin here understands that the Law player is going to take a 5k swing, even if it's a 6k swing. They want those cards in hand. And he plays around Jet Pistol this way, not trying to get blown out from playing his character first and then getting it Jet Pistoled.
Yeah, that is definitely the number one reason to dodge the Jet Pistol.
So you have Law here playing the Nami, picking up a Zoro. Definitely moving forward here with the game plan. And let's see what he has. Another 1-drop, another Nami. A lot of searching he's doing here, trying to find some key pieces, looking maybe for some blockers in the form of Tony Chopper. Brook being a 2K, excellent card here.
The thing is, this is actually very risky. Playing those Namis back to back to back and follow as well as the Dawn. You're possibly losing your laws. Those laws go straight to the bottom of the deck, and you can't add them. They are supernovas. They're not straw hats.
Yeah, that is a risky move. I don't know also if spamming. Wow. 4 searchers on the board there. Man, he is just setting himself up to where he might not be able to see a 5-cost Law at all for this game.
Like, yeah, he didn't buy.
And he missed.
There
right
goes
there.
all 5. All 5 straight to buy. That's 20. He went through 20 cards. He added 3 cards. So that means 17 cards. He knows the order of the bottom 17 cards.
Yeah.
If he remembers it. That's the hard part. In a long game, it's very hard to remember the exact 17 card order.
It is kind of unfortunate, however, because he spent his entire turn building up this board just to get blown out by this Niko Robin. And a Vista here. We have Luffy clearing 2 bodies this turn, being very aggressive here, and as well as slowing Law down immensely. Law no longer can just play another body. He has to play 3 more bodies his next turn, which all have to be 1-drops in order for him to do his leader effect. So we're slowing the Law player down immensely here, and this is just an amount of pressure that now you're going to see him starting to pitch 2k swings if he has to. 2k cards out of hand for 6k swings. And, 7k swing here. This is 2 cards out of hand. This is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he's definitely applying a lot of pressure here. It's not giving him time to breathe, and just by putting this much pressure, setting down to like 1-7-0, you're putting him in range of unblockable Luffy.
Yeah, that is a potential card that these Luffy decks love playing a lot of here. And you have the Law player going to 1. I don't know how great it is going to 1 here. You're setting yourself up, and the board is not in your favor at all.
This 1, 6 Dawns. You can only do so much now.
Yeah,
he has to out Niko Robin. That's number 1 priority at this point. And after getting away from Niko Robin, you have to be able to set yourself to protect your life to make sure you're not taking too much damage from here on out.
Exactly. So we're probably going to see here a 6k swing or an Otama here, trying to reduce that Niko Robin to basically, there we go, a 2k swing into it. And I don't think that the Luffy player can afford to save it here.
It's a little small. I don't think it's worth trying to save it. I mean, it's not the worst because it does require him to do an extra swing, but you don't want to give up cards from your hand. Just do that.
Yeah, I think that he recognized that even if he gets out of this swing, it's going to be a Dadan swing into it, which is another card out of hand, and then a Law swing, which is 2 cards out of hand. It's just too much to save it.
Mm-hmm. And not just that. Like, he can end up playing more cards from his hand, find pieces, and then goes, all right, Law Shambles effect, bounce to Nami, plays a 5-cost Law, and then bounce to wherever else gets played. Ooh. He takes a Bonnie with Bonnie.
I'm assuming that he either couldn't find something he needed here, keep a key piece, or
plays Chopper. He does use the Law effect. All right.
Yeah. Picking up an Otama here.
Otama back. Interesting. For the 5-cost Law, 5-cost Law takes Bonnie back.
Puts into play a Zoro for 5.
Zoro and Zoro's attacks for 5. That's 2 blockers on board. But this is where it gets really hard for Luffy now. You have a full board that you need to deal with.
And there's a 2k coming down there. And yeah, this board is full here. I don't know if it's worth trying to control the board anymore. Usually when
Yeah,
Law gets a full board, it's very hard for you to try and clear the entire board because they just have so many resources from the cards they're bouncing back to just fill it up to 5 again and get that leader effect.
yeah. And from public knowledge, there's two Bonnies, there's a Brook, and
A
that's all I
Otama.
know. I know,
Otama,
yeah,
yeah.
Otama. Four. Those four
So
cards. Yeah, that's
definitely a,
Oh, that's four cards out of what looks like 7 in hand
yeah.
or 8.
Not too certain how many cards in hand. But just knowing that he has 4 cave counters in hand makes the attack so much harder for Luffy. He has to try and spread out the damage as much as possible, trying to pitch just a small amount out of that hand each attack. But Law here just going to replay the Searchers.
Mm-hmm. All right, here comes
Second
another Vista.
Vista on the chopper. I could see a line where the Luffy player attacks into the Nami with his Vista. It makes the Law player have to try to think of taking a turn off of pressuring the life and instead the board. But if it procs a block from the 5-drop, Luffy could swing into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not mind seeing that there. Luffy thinking hard about this. 4 Dawn open. We have access to Jet Pistol, Rush Zoro, any of those cards. Nami's to try and find key pieces we're missing. He's tanking here, thinking about it.
Luffy
Using the
effect
leader
on himself.
effect, yeah.
Send to 8. Is he going at the Zoro?
It's either Zoro or lead. It was at Zoro. Okay.
It was at Zoro.
That is a key piece gone for the Law player to bounce back and utilize efficiently to get a lot of 5k swings in.
The fact that he let it through, though, it makes me feel like, okay, he let it through. He probably has more in his hand. It is a large hand after all. And I feel like pressuring life to force a block or forcing out cards out of the hand may be better, but it all depends on what's in the Luffy's hand as well. I don't know what's in his hand. He needs to, if he has multiple copies of 5-cost Luffy to be unblockable, I probably would have went for the life and just keep pressuring life that way instead. Because you're at a time. This is a time bomb. You're at a point where you need to pressure. You need to win soon before you lose complete control of the board. I mean, it looks like he's losing control of the board already as it is.
And there you go.
He does put a Dawn under the Law to dodge the pistol if he hits a pistol.
Right. But here you also have Luffy could potentially have Red Hawk here. 2-cost counter plus 4, KO a character cost or with power 4k or less.
Yeah,
it could
in
potentially...
this case, it's pretty good. I would definitely get rid of Nami and then makes it so he cannot use the Law effect.
It is, and I wonder if he's going to do it on any of these swings here. Maybe he doesn't have it too. That is potential.
That's definitely high potential of not having it.
Man, he is thinking hard about this pitch.
There's a Niko Robin.
I think that would have been your best attack to Red Hawk, right? Because now he just gets to play the 1-cost. He gets to use the Law effect.
Yep, and we know he added a Law to his hand, so he's just going to bounce the Nami. Or the Dadan. Yeah, actually, no, the Dadan for sure. Yeah. To play the Law and takes the body to hand.
Yep. Probably putting down
another
Dadan
body.
Or a Zoro. Wow. That is the starter deck Zoro. A card that's...
Yeah, we're seeing people run more of them lately.
It's very good into Whitebeard. Just being a body, it also clears pretty well for what it is. It is a fairly decent card overall, and you see more Law decks picking it up. So yeah, it is a card that is Dawn times 1. It gains plus 1k no matter whose turn it is. So it's going to be a 7k swing offensively and a 6k body defensively.
Yeah. Another thing about it being 3 costs. That 3 is very important here.
Yeah.
Because that is what lets you let it get being played by
5-cost Law.
5-cost Law, yeah.
So we're going to see here, Luffy is at 9 Dawn. He could play a Newgate here and establish a chance of just swinging 7 or 8 at lead.
Not the worst. Definitely not the worst.
I think it'd be
Going
his...
8 at lead.
Yeah, it does. It is quite unfortunate. He does have that chopper out there that's kind of inhibiting that swing to go through. The 8K swing would usually get blocked by a Law and would have to take 2 cards out of hand. But with that chopper, it's just a simple block. We don't have to worry about it.
Luffy, I think he took...
I think he's taken 3 or 4 life. He should be out 2
I
or
thought
1.
it was 2 or 3 life. No, I see at least 2.
Yeah, at least 2. So
that is a Zoro.
So he's playing a Rush Zoro here. He might try to just pressure this turn, try to get a lot of damage in. This is a 6K swing at lead.
Yeah, I apologize on like the life count because on the stream you can't really see. You only see 1 because of the how the camera is.
Yeah.
From our side, we do see more life, which is why you're unable to see it.
Yeah.
But I do see at least 2 life available for Luffy, possibly 3.
Man, I just think a 6K swing at Law always feels horrible, right? Because they always have 2Ks in hand. We knew he had Brook. We know he has Otama still. He always has these 2Ks in hand, and a 6K swing just, it doesn't seem good enough. But he is holding 6 up. He might be playing a Rush Luffy here. We'll see what he gets to. And a 5K swing at lead.
Interesting.
Trying to chip down that hand size.
But at a 5K, he just takes a block.
This depends.
And
that's for 4. It looks like Jet Pistol. Yep, Jet Pistol into Zoro. Probably valuing that card is going to attack for 7 next turn. It'd take at least 2 cards out of hand. The Laws, they don't. They're going to take. They could be 7s, but that Zoro is just a big problem overall.
Yeah, he might not even attack with the Laws. They might just sit there as a blocker.
Yeah. We have that Otama coming down.
Otama. He's saying, all right, I'm doing minus on the Zoro. I'm making sure he dies.
3K swing here.
It's definitely at the Zoro.
Yep. And here we go. The Law player playing around a Jet Pistol alive still with those 7K bodies. Attaching a Dawn to the Laws, making them 7s.
He still has 6 extra Dawns available that he can use. So go 7K at lead.
I'm honestly not mad that he's just going 7s at lead. I would not be surprised if these Law blockers start turning sideways. At least one of them, right? Because then you can bounce the Nami, play restand Law, restand it as a blocker if you need be.
Yes.
And, oh, we have that Red Hawk coming down.
For Otama, interesting.
I would have probably hit the chopper.
I feel like he hit the Otama because he's preparing for a Luffy play, a non-blockable Luffy, but like all right, he takes the life. I still see another life on the edge right there.
Yeah.
Goes another 7K. He takes that life. All right, are we gonna see a
and to bounce the Nami, restand Law probably.
I would assume so.
There
There it is.
And is this gonna swing for 7 here? We have 2 blockers.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need to.
I don't think it's just too many cards. Oh, he goes for it.
Yeah, I don't think Luffy had it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
No counters?
I don't think he has any counters there. Yeah.
Oh, that's game.
That is game. It looks like the Luffy player will lose. I mean,
there's just no counters here. No, can't stop the 7K. That is match.
Wow.
Law takes the win.
All right. Welcome back to our coverage of the CoreTCG Treasure Cup. And we have for you today a special round for round 5. We have Kid on the top playing against Whitebeard on the bottom.
You requested it, and here it is.
So we have a Kid player at the top playing against the Whitebeard player. Just waiting for players to get set up so that we could start the round.
Yeah. Last time we had a Kid was in the middle of the match. This time we're there at the beginning. With this, you get to see it at the very. Oh, sorry, it was Zoro, not Whitebeard. Sorry, it was Kid and Zoro. I definitely messed up. I thought it was
okay.
Whitebeard. I think it was a resubmission. That was why when I checked the list.
It was A-okay. Quick fix there.
Yeah.
So we have Chris at the top playing Kid and Roy at the bottom playing Zoro. So an interesting card that's probably going to get that the Kid player is going to need to find is probably going to be 8-drop Kid. Very powerful card if he runs it, and it's going to allow him to kind of take some early life from Zoro and establish a body that Zoro has to answer, or he's not going to win the game.
Yep. So he has to have the both pistol with Otama, of course. That's your number 1 out to the 8-cost Kid, and if you can burn those pistols early, burn the Otamas early, you're setting yourself up in a really good spot.
So yeah, 8-cost Kid, basically making it so if it has a Dawn on it, you have to attack into it. There's no other option. You can attack into other Kid character cards. So if he has a 7-cost that's rested, you can attack into that one. But you basically have to force to kill this card before you can hit the leader. Very important to do so. So we have both players setting up.
Yep.
And it looks like the Kid player went first. So we have a Dedan from Zoro here. One of the best plays for going second.
I honestly think it's actually the best play going second. I'd rather play a Dedan, like a single Dedan, than 2 1-drops.
Sure. In most matchups, it seems good.
Yeah.
Playing 2 1-drops, it doesn't seem that bad either. It's just flooding the board. You're using more cards from hand, so the Dedan here refreshes itself. Very good play from the Zoro player.
Yeah. And does he have the Kiku?
Or no, he has Izo.
Oh, he's going for the clear.
Yeah.
So Izo and swinging into it.
This is good too. Trying to waste the cards in Zoro's hand to make it so they run out of resources. But we have a Nami here coming off from Zoro, keeping that card size in hand at least decent enough. Grabbing a jet pistol, that's 1 piece towards that 8-cost Kid if the Kid player plays it.
Now he has to hold on to that pistol, not use it until you see the 8-drop Kid. Or he finds a second one.
Attack for 7 here at the leader. Probably just going to take this hit. Not wanting to use too many cards there. And playing the Sunny. So definitely setting up a turn so where he can get massive swings in. Trying to get as much life from the Kid player as possible. But green being green will try to rest and clear that board.
If he's able to, that's what he wants to do. However, your ideal, your best way to play the game as Zoro is 5, 5, 5, 5. As many 5 as possible. That's because every single 5 is 1 card in hand.
Yep. And 6s afterward are just as good. Takes either 2K or 2 1Ks out of hand.
So 5 Dawn available. There is a Raizo. So Raizo as a way to replenish cards from hand. Does he have the Nekomamushi?
No.
Oh, he has a Chopper. So Chopper does the same thing as Kiku in a way, where it is able to rest a body when you attach onto it to attack. However, it is much weaker in terms of power. And it
is much weaker. And
it's 2,000 power, and you need 1. So you need 3 on it to hit leader. But if you're able to swing into a body, in this case against Zoro, all the small bodies are relatively weak. Yeah. So you can put 1 Dawn into it and make it 3,000 into one of the 1 or 2 cost bodies.
This is definitely a card of spice.
And there's the 5K swing with Sunny.
And if we're going for an 8-cost kid play, taking these 5s seems fine.
Magura. That is a 6K Nami, essentially. 6.
It is a 6K. It's going to come in at face here. It could be 7, depending on what's in the Zoro player's hand, but 6 might be better here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 6-6 with another Zoro for 6, I'm assuming. Leaving with, since he does have 3 Dons open.
Yeah, and discarding that Chopper.
Yep. Chopper is a 2K. There's the 6. Takes the 6. There's the Zoro for another 6.
This is a lot of pressure coming towards Chris, and I don't know if he can keep up with it. He doesn't have a lot of cards.
Definitely a lot. I don't think you should take this damage. You're at range.
Yeah.
This is really early to be at range.
And there we go.
Another chopper. That's 3 choppers gone. We're expecting to see 9 rounds.
Yeah. So with 7 Don open, we have a lot of potential. We definitely can clear that Sunny as well as resting that Magura. We can see a full board clear here by the kid player. But is that good enough to combat the amount of pressure that the Zoro player is placing on him? And Zoro still has a grip of cards in hand.
He certainly does. And the fact that he also has 5 life. He's dividing up the Dons. He's going for a 4K swing.
Probably at the Nami here to try and clear it. Yep.
He wants to guarantee the Nami kill. I'm still not sure about the 4K. I think 3K was enough. Yeah, I think he committed a little too much.
Drawing a card off of the Raizo here.
Magura goes. All right.
We can go a 5K swing with Izo. Man, it's just so much Dawn utilization that we have to use here to try and clear the board. That's going to be a 7K swing.
7? Assuming that's at Zoro. Character Zoro.
Character Zoro, yep. And there he goes. And a 5K swing at the Sunny. So Zoro's board got completely destroyed there by this Chopper as well as Gang. And you have Kid following up with a beige afterward.
A beige blocker. I'm still really iffy on all those all the swings being 2K over. Yes, 2K over requires 2 cards to save them, but at the same time, how likely are Zoros going to drop cards just to save a 2K like a 2K body when you have a bunch of other swings coming in?
Right.
I maybe with Law, because they want the body so they can do the shambles play. But Zoro, it's iffy.
We have Roy here thinking about what he wants to do. He is at 8 Dawn. Kind of an awkward number to be at as Zoro. You're 1 away from your Newgate. So I think this is a turn where Roy can develop the board while trying to clear some of those key pieces for the kid player. This is just going to eat a beige blocker. So using that jet pistol onto the Raizo, stopping that card draw, and just passing.
Just getting rid of the cards right away.
The good news here is Roy doesn't have any bodies on the board, meaning that if the kid player wants to get swings out, he can only go face. And eventually he will need to start pressuring the life some more to try and get to a point where he can win the game off of an Odin or even an 8-cost kid.
Or double swings here, double 12K.
Yeah.
But here, the best scenario is chip damage. this is your best time to do chip damage, and honestly, just do 5Ks. You don't want any more than that.
Yeah. Here we go.
Right.
5K swing at lead. And I'm
Oh,
surprised that Zoro is countering out of this.
and that if he's countering out, that means we should be expecting white beer drops. I think 1, maybe even 2 back-to-back white beers coming down soon.
Maybe. The 2 would be kind of insane. But I feel like pitching, you always want that card, even if you're going to play 2. You're going to be a 7K base leader following, and you know he's not attacking you for the rest of the turn. And here we go. That's 8 Don there. Coming down is the 8 cost Kid.
That was within expectation, but at this point, you 100% do not tap it.
Yeah, there's no reason to. You're not under threat of losing the game here. I would rather hold it up that way that we are not at threat of it getting killed. And while we're tapping it. If he has no Kiku, this is
he has to have a blocker. He has to tap. If he's tapping, he should be playing a blocker down.
Well, this is kind of tricky because by doing this, it locks Roy into deciding, okay, I either play my 9 cost Whitebeard, develop the board, become a 7K leader, swing 8 at it, and then
or commit.
And that looks like, wow. So
there's the Whitebeard. Oh.
So we're a 7K base, 8 into it.
8 into it. Yep.
Gets a card out of hand here. And you have Chris playing it at such a high life. 2 life and an 8 cost Kid is incredibly hard to come through.
Yeah. That's the thing, Bill. Even though you're 2 life, I don't feel pressure enough to really keep the 8 cost Kid like that. That's why I'm saying, I was thinking maybe he doesn't need to tap it and just, all right, I can take another chip damage and still keep an 8 cost Kid on board. And just have extra cards in hand to counter and save the Kid afterwards.
Right. That is fair. And so now we just have a turn of swing 9 at lead. Zoro player just taking that, being a base 7. We can put 3 down on a Raizo to draw a card if we really want to. Or we could still just draw a card without any Dawn. That's fair too.
Yep.
No reason to give him another card there.
Oh, it also requires you to commit extra Dawn to just make the play. I'd definitely just take the draw.
Yeah.
Oh, Chopper here is actually super strong because of Chopper. Roy is unable to really play the small weenie bodies where to get the extra swings in because they're going to get tapped.
Oh, another 8 cost Kid. Wow. This is almost demoralizing here with that second 8 cost Kid coming down. Now, if you were right and think that Roy had a lot of Newgates in hand, at least 2, this might be a decent play here. Just swing 10 into it, swing 8. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's doing.
You can see the 9. He has 9 bunched up together, except for the 1.
And a 10K swing onto that Kid. It's going to proc 2 cards out of hand. But we still have that other one as backup. That's insane.
Two cards or the Kid?
This is tough. There might be contention because we have that second Kid to just let it die.
2 cards, yeah.
Pitching it in a poo and a killer.
Yeah, he's going for it. There's the 9. 10. Wait a second. He's playing games with my mind.
He might go... I feel like here... Man, it's just so hard to try and kill that Kid.
It definitely is. However, at this point, because Chris only has 3 cards in hand, it's still worry. It's still worrisome. He's really hard to save a Kid with only 3 cards in hand. Blockers don't really do much because Whitebeard. Whitebeard just pops it.
Yeah.
I do think that another Whitebeard is best. Yep, there's the second one. And going for another 8 into the kid. Drops 1k counter. Keep it up. So here's the thing, though. I would have just put the 1 onto Zoro, regardless of what happened, and go 11 at the kid the first time. That's my personal difference. That's the only difference I would have made.
I feel like, yeah, that's probably fair there. Make him
Because
pitch
no
more
matter
cards from
what,
hand.
1 was going under Zoro to swing as 8 with the Whitebeard effect, or you put extra on the Zoro and swing 8 again, one way or another at the kid. So at that point, the Whitebeard being 11 does make a huge difference.
We're at a point here where we can maybe put our opponent down to 0 life this turn with a massive swing from leader and just holding these kids up as a way for us to save our life.
Mm-hmm.
Raizo drawing a card, that'll help make that decision a lot easier, I would say.
Most certainly.
Here we go. We have 8 Dawn left? Or no, we should have
9.
9.
9.
Sorry about
9
that.
available to use.
It was hidden there.
How will he distribute the Dons? Another 9k.
Are we just going 3 9k swings from here on out to try and get there?
He might do
Or 10 maybe. 9 and then 10
might do
twice.
9-9.
Yeah.
9-9, leave 1 up.
Could do that. And really, he only has to hit Roy once. Twice would be better, but if he hits him once, he still gets him in that range of... Oh.
Another one? Oh
the
my.
BM right here. The third 8-cost kid.
But 2 cards left in hand.
I don't... I mean, those 8-cost kids are pretty much blockers.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. This board state is absurd.
I'm thinking, like, what would be the best way to go about this? He can definitely kill 2 of them if he does it in a certain order.
I mean, he only has 2 cards in hand. I would say just, like, if we have the third Newgate, just put it on our leader, go 8 into one of them, make him pitch a card, and then 11s with the other 2 into each other one. So, definitely these boards are crazy. I wonder if he does have that third Newgate.
Yeah, because that if he had done the 11 the previous turn, I think he could have. He guarantees clearing them.
Oh, a
Just
jet pistol onto the blocker. It looks like that would make this clear turn a lot easier.
Most definitely.
We can definitely clear both kids. Oh,
I'm wondering why he's going 10.
It does get all the cards out of the kid player's hand, so you would have to play just with the top card of his deck.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if we're gonna attach it down to leader, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're gonna end up attaching down to leader anyway, you just do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he put too many dons over. He put 5 instead of 4. Yeah.
So Otama here onto that other kid, clearing all 3 in one turn. Wow. A 9k swing into that kid, clearing it. And now you have the Zoro player's board looking very, very good.
Yeah.
So now I wonder if the Kid player has to win this turn. I don't. If he does, can put him in a lot of contention.
This double wipe your turns were huge. Now he's set up in a spot, an extremely good spot. There's not much the Kid player can do. I mean, he can go. Oh, what? Looks like 4 cards in hand.
Yeah.
5. No, it's 5, 6.
Way more cards.
6 cards in hand. 6 cards in hand. So Zoro is in a commanding lead now.
It did not look that way from the start of the Kid player's turn with that first 8 cost Kid. Now you see the tables have definitely turned.
How the turntables.
So 7K swing at lead here, proccing 2 cards out. And I don't know what we can do.
No reason to take the damage.
If we have another Nekomamushi blocker, that'd be huge here.
7 cost Kid would be pretty good too, but it's not a ideal spot to be in for sure.
In this position, the Zoro player is making very commanding as we're going through here. Clearing 3 8-cost Kids in 1 turn.
Yeah. I was not ready for the pistol into the Cat Viper there. That definitely went for it.
We see a restand of the Kid, a 7K swing at lead here.
He has 5 open. What's
Probably
he gonna
for
do?
The Law, 5-cost Law, bounce, put down another blocker. Might be his best play.
That's definitely possible.
Let's see what happens here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, counter out while you
1K.
still can. And keep them in a safe spot. As long as he's not at 1, he's not in danger of 2 12K swings. Does he go for another 7K?
I don't think there's a reason to. He has to try and find a blocker here. At least to make it so he's not just dead to 11, 11, 15. This Kid player searching.
That's assuming there's nothing in his hand. Like, if he has a Gibson in his hand, then it's perfectly okay to go for the 7. But at the same time, it also means he has to have something. Oh, there's the Law that you're talking about.
Now, I wouldn't be mad if he bounced the Raizo to hand just for counter power. Might come
for the
up.
extra 1.
Yeah, an extra 1K. In case he has a 2K in hand, that's an 8K to get out of a 7K swing. But
yeah,
I still think you're in a rough position here.
definitely is. So next turn, assuming based on the board state, it's swing. You take the 7K hit because you don't really have much of a choice. Just hope that there's no pistol.
Ooh, the Rushoro is also another card you wish he did not have there.
Yeah. Is put 3 on? Yeah, you put 3 on, go for a 9K, and go 11-11.
Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah. Actually, 9K. You go 9K and go 12-12 actually, because you have 2 extra nons open. But he's going for an 8K swing. He took it, so that should be lethal.
Ooh,
that is game. Oh, that was
Waterfall,
a Gibson in hand.
Momo killer. No, it's Waterfall.
That's Waterfall.
Yeah,
oh, that is Waterfall. You're right.
Cost, yeah. So
I could. It's kind of hard to sell.
It was kind of hard to tell. All right, welcome back to our coverage of round 6 of the CoreTCG Treasure Cup, and we
Uh,
have a good matchup for you guys.
Yep, you asked for it and we got it for you. We have Jackson on Law versus Brandon on Kaido. Jackson is currently undefeated on Law, and we do this time we get to see Law from the beginning to the end. I do believe we had a Law to beginning to the end too earlier.
Yeah, we did see a law game through the beginning and the end. We right now are going to start the timer, and they can begin when they're ready. So,
Yes.
definitely excited to see. I'm going to be hoping that Jackson can find some of his rush pieces against Kaido. During set 1, Kaido was a very hard matchup for Law to beat, but
Yes.
with the rush pieces, they can kind of pressure Kaido immensely and get a lot of those cards out of the hand.
Yeah. It's definitely different now compared to before. Before, because you have the 7 cost king, you have the 6 cost king. It is constant removal and not allowing Law to establish a board. But now you have so many more searchers, so many more low cost cards they can play. You're able to floodgate the board even if they get removed.
Here we go. Kaido finding that stage on turn 2, exactly as planned.
Now, a perfect curve, Kaido. Let's see if how Law takes this, how Jackson played this matchup through the perfect curve. Now, the real perfect curve, he has a 6-drop here right next turn.
Now, I think, yeah, if he has a 6-drop, that'd be very good. I think going second, he would have got access to the 7-cost king, which is very good against Law. So
For sure.
definitely, if he has a 6-cost king, it's still very good. It's clearing a body off the board, slowing Jackson down even more from trying to activate that shambles effect.
For sure.
So we have Jackson here running out the second Nami, searching through all these cards. The last one picked up the 4-cost Vanilla Zoro, the film one from set 2.
Forecast. The good thing about Forecast Vanilla Zoro is obviously being 6K, and the other is it can dodge the effects that based on cost. It can dodge the 3 cost and under effects because with it being 4. However, you're not able to play it off the 5-cost laws because it is a 4 cost. That's the only drawback to it. And he goes full stack. I'm having a 5 unit board. You can off 1 body, maybe 2 at most. I'm getting right back.
And yeah, you see Jackson here going super fast, playing the Namis, adding that Zoro to hand, as well as just playing out his hand, all these 1-drops. And you have the Kaido player here, usually wanting to play his 10-cost after he does some bounces, but he might not even be able to get there, depending on the amount of pressure this board creates. Mina
Koala. Interesting, because Mino Koala here is just a blocker. It doesn't get the on KO effect because you don't have an impel down leader.
It is a card that can be played off of Little Sadie, though, that is pretty decent for Kaido if it needs to defend swings early.
For sure. And there's the 1K block. There is the Zoro that was just added to hand. And we do have a full board to 2 blockers.
Absolutely. So I wouldn't be surprised here if you saw Jackson starting to swing 5s at the leader, trying to proc as many cards out of Kaido's hand as possible while pressuring. Kaido does run a lot of 2Ks, but having to use a 2K on a 5K swing is very, very demoralizing, to say the least.
Yes, for sure. And there's a 5K swing. You still have 6 dons active to do whatever you want with it.
And there we go. He's using a blocker, trying to keep those cards in hand, making sure that he has enough to get out of the later swings of 7s.
Yeah. That's a Machina effect on Nami. Nami going for another 5K swing.
And yep, pitching a 1K from hand, Jack discard to draw a card, or to ramp a Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Just maximum efficiency here. Just not using as many cards as possible. Being able to chip in damage. If not chipping in damage, taking cards out of hand, taking cards from board.
And wow, this is perfect. You're going to have Jackson here being able to use his Shambles effect to pick up a
7K swing.
7K swing here. Starting to pressure the hand some more, trying to get that last blocker out We will see what Brandon does here to try and counter it. And he's going to take that life instead. Going down to 3.
Not the worst.
Yeah. If Jackson can produce more attackers with bigger attacks, it could be kind of dangerous. But for right now, it doesn't seem like the worst plan in the world. And we
Takes the Nami.
Interesting. Bouncing Nami into 4-cost Zoro here. Definitely a good play. Establishing that 6k body with a Dawn on it. It's a 7k swing. And I feel like with this, you're just pressuring him even more. Kaido is not even close to 10, so we don't get a 10 cost yet. And all he can do is just sit there and wait.
He does have enough for a 7 cost if he has it in his hand.
7-cost King would be very good here. Popping 2 bodies off the board and being able to swing into another one, leaving Jackson with just 2 characters on the board at the end of this trade.
Yeah. So he's going for a 5k swing into the Dawn. Interesting. Not the Makino.
And another blocker. There are no bombs coming out of this Kaido player's hand.
So 7 Dawns remaining.
It has to be a king here, right? Either one will do. The 6 cost at least pops the Zoro and relieves some pressure from you.
Definitely. Oh, he just passed. Oh. So even though he perfect curved the island, he did not have the top end.
Wow. No top end whatsoever. And passing with 7 Dawn open, you have to wonder what is in his hand. 5 cards
that's
up.
Extra Makino effect on the Nami here. Nami goes for 5k swing.
Blocking with a domino there. Effectively trying to limit the using of cards in hand, but I just wonder what is there.
Yeah.
7 Dawn open. Do we just have a bunch of event cards in hand?
Well, it could be a bunch of either a bunch of event cards or he has a 10 drop, but that was the turn. His Dawn came out rested, so he can't 10 drop either. That is a 7k swing. If he has the 10 drop, I just keep on blocking.
You snap block this, yeah. Well, also there's the other Zoro that can also attack, so.
But that's not the worst.
Yeah.
Right? You can, if you 10 drop here, you can at least clear the board and have him reset. There is the Nami that was bounced back to hand earlier.
Now I wonder if Jackson is going to overextend the board or if he's going to try and keep it super conservative here, trying to just limit the amount of characters he has on the board here just to what he has. And I think that'd be a great play because really you're not under threat of anything significant. And if you overextend the board into a 10 cost, it can lose you the game on the spot.
Yeah. So here he goes for a 9k swing. Will he restand Law here for another 9k?
I would. Wow.
Yep. That was the restand Law for another 9k.
This is immense.
He's taking cards out of the hand or take a life.
And that is.
He took cards out. Oh, that's a lot of cards out of the hand.
2 Shikis and a Hannibal.
Yeah. So we should be expecting a 10 drop here. At least, if you don't have it, this is going to be over. He has to 10 drop now.
And there it is.
There is.
That 10 cost Kaido coming down, KOing the board.
Yeah, he was put in a spot where he had no choice but to do it.
And great job on Jackson, not overextending the board too much, making sure that he has the Nami in hand effectively for a follow-up play this turn.
Yep. And that is... Now, both players are at 10, or actually not anymore. Kaido is back down to 5. There's the Dawn. Got to replenish the hand, replenish the board.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Makino coming up. And Jackson just going to be able to... He can maybe shambles his effect. He might be able to use his leader's effect this turn. Yeah, because we know he has the Nami in hand. Yep. If he can find some cheaper bodies... Oh, wait. That's 4 Dawn he has left? No, he has to have more than that.
No, he used 3. He starts 7 remaining.
Yeah.
We know he has a chopper in his hand. We know he has a Makino, and we know he has a Brook. That's way more than enough.
And a Bonnie here.
He has enough. He just established 5 bodies again, just like that. And
And he
there's the
has
Law.
Law. Wow. Was able to rebuild the board so quickly.
It's like the board was never gone.
And his board before looked kind of weak in comparison to this new one he's going to build. If we're thinking about it, it was a Restand Law, the 6K Zoro, all very good cards, but in hindsight, this new board is very great following a 10-cost Kaido turn.
Yep. There's the Shambles effect. Takes the Dawn up.
The Dawn. Law picks up Nami, or sorry.
Bonnie,
Nami.
close enough. And then the 6K swing, leaving the our Kaido player down to 1. And I don't think there's many cards in the hand left. He's at 7 Dawn. 7 Dawn, at least he's able to 7 cost King, but if he does, he's putting himself in lethal range.
And now he's at 1 life. This is, man. The fact that Jackson was able to establish so well following that Kaido turn is very impressive.
Yeah, the fact that he did it the turn immediately. It's not like it took him 2 turns to do it. He did it immediately.
And Kaido here just kind of has to... It's 5 Dawn there, I believe. For a queen. Man. And Jackson here did a really good job of reestablishing that board following the 10 drop. Keep saying it over and over again, but it's kind of insane to see.
Yeah, not many players are able to do that. Not many players prepare the hand or have the foresight to play around cards even if it happens. Like, okay, I expect it to happen, and I'm okay with it happening because I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Other player, and then they have players that go, oh, wait, I knew this was going to happen, but I'm not prepared for it. Jackson was prepared for it.
As you can see here, Jackson just setting up the board here. At 1 life as Kaido, you have to wonder, am I just dead to this next turn? Counting the deck, probably trying to figure out where the rest of his cards are. And Jet Pistol there for the queen, making this turn a lot easier. We could just start swinging 7s across the board. 5Ks work even better here. We'll see a 5 with Nami here. Kaido going to use either Judgment of Hell. Yep. Judgment of Hell minus 3K to 2 bodies.
He picks the leader log, since at this point the leader log doesn't get any bonus. He doesn't get to restand it. He gets to restand everything else, even if they get minus power here. So it's all right. Just pick the leader law here. But even then, even now, he can still go 2 more swings. You saw him add the law to his hand, the restand law.
Yeah, and this is just tough to watch. A lot of damage coming through here. And Kaido just running out of resources. $7K swing at lead. He's going to take that. Go to 3 or 4 cards in hand there.
And then
an 8K swing at lead.
Swing. And that is it.
Wow. Only
that was
2K.
Very decisive, very commanding. He just did not let up.
Yeah, that was a very commanding position that Jackson took that entire game, and you just see it there paying off for him. All right, welcome back to our coverage of CoreTCG's Treasure Cup. I am here with Human, and we are going to be watching Whitebeard versus Law. A
this
matchup.
will be the first of this matchup today, at least,
Yeah,
that we've seen on stream.
exactly what I was about to say. We've not seen it at all today. This is our first time watching it. It will be exciting to see these decks go face to face with each other as we get ready for that. So, players now know that they're going to decide who's going to go first, and they are going to get the game going for us.
Yes, and also, we don't know what version of this white beer is. Is it boat beer or is it straw beer? And what do you think of the matchup? Is Law good into white beer, or is white beer good into Law?
As we saw in Peoria, Michael basically played against a boatbeard version and won the finals of that in a bow 3. And you'll see here Law trying to contest the board a lot, and Law is going to be favored here just because they can clear the board, and with Newgate trying to develop the board with bodies that want to swing throughout the rest of the turns, and try to gain advantage off of the boat buffing up by 2k, as well as just immense amounts of pressure. Law can kind of out-tempo that with the blockers they have, as well as the removal in the form of Otama Vista, and just through swinging at the bodies for low numbers, but it's going to cause the Whitebeard player to pitch most of his hand to save those bodies.
Yes. So we're gonna have to see. We're heading right into the game, but there's still one final question that you haven't answered. Who do you think will win?
Oh, I mean, if it is Strawbeard, I think Strawbeard might have a better version due to the amount of aggro it has, as well as access to those 5-cost Luffys that are unblockable. You might have Law setting up a board with a lot of blockers, but if he is on Strawbeard, I think that Law will probably get it out.
So if you think if it's straw beer, Law will win. If it's boat beer,
oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused the two.
Other
way around.
Yeah.
Boatbeard.
Other way around.
If it's Boatbeard, Law will probably win. If it's Strawbeard, there's a good chance that the Whitebeard player can take it.
All right, let's see what it is. We're heading to the start of the match. They just finished setting up. Meanwhile, I will look up our undefeateds to see what decks they have are left. We do have a lot of laws, so it is right now.
It does look that way.
A lot of laws. Let's see.
And you have Whitebeard going second here, probably winning the roll against Law. Always good to go second as Newgate as well as Law. So we'll see if Law can set up a board here with a lot of those 1-drops and 2-drops, trying to get to that Shambles effect. And it is Boatbeard. We have Moby Dick coming down on turn 2 for the Whitebeard player.
Ooh, boat beer. So, and he's having an on-curve movie deck. That's your ideal. That's your number one favorite start playing boat beer. And the fact that he got it puts him in a really good spot already.
Yep, and you'll see here, Gregory is just going to start chipping in for 6s, but it does not matter. You'll have Newgate here just taking those life, and it looks like he was about to trigger the 1-cost activate main event to look at the top 5 for a Whitebeard character. He's thinking about it. I think I saw a glimpse of that, but we will see.
Mm-hmm. So we do have our matchups overall. Table 1 is Law. Yeah. Table 1 is Law against Whitebeard. Same matchup here, but I do not know if it's boat beer or white beer or straw beer yet. We have, and then table 2 is Law Mirrow Match. Table 3 we have here Law versus Whitebeard, and table 4 is Luffy against Zoro.
Ooh. That will be interesting if we do get a chance to see that. I do not think that match is going to go very long, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, that I do not think so either, considering they're both red decks and very aggressive type of decks. Overall, we have 4 Laws, 2 Whitebeard, 1 Luffy, 1 Zoro that are undefeated at the moment.
And you have Whitebeard player here developing a Marco this early. I don't know if I like that plan because it gives the Law
Yeah,
player an opportunity to just KO it and get off the board permanently. If we're at a lower
yeah,
amount of life, we can proc that effect, but here we can't.
this is definitely the best time to pistol it if you have to pistol now, or Tama Vista. So while we're waiting for his turn, I will check what kind of Whitebeard is.
Yeah, just another 6K swing. I don't know if you do this one first. Or I think Marco says 1 or less life.
So
If you have 2 or less life. So yeah, I feel like you'd KO the Marco first and then do that. But maybe he
we
doesn't have
got
a way.
2 both beers. Both Whitebeard decks are both beers.
2 Boatbeard decks. No Strawbeards anymore. I think people are starting to see that the Boatbeard version it can clear boards better, I think, compared to the Luffy one.
It's also very good into the mirror. The both beer is significantly stronger than straw beer
Yeah.
in terms of the mirror.
And there is those hybrid decks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those hybrid decks focusing on just running 4 of the Moby Dicks as well as Marcos and maybe some more Whitebeard Pirate cards, maybe upping the count of Ace, trying to make it so we can get value off it. And you have Law
Yes.
here getting to 5 on the board, but only having 1 Don available for that Shambles effect. So 3 Namis and a Dedan, though. That is a lot of searchers.
Most definitely. I am checking it, and they're both pure white beer.
Huh.
Pure both beer.
All right. We're just going to see a 6K swing here at the leader. I'm going to assume the Law player is just going to take it. I don't know if he should counter out of it or not. Yep. Taking it, going to 2, making sure that we get the most cards in our hand here.
But the board, though, it looks quite red. Where's the green?
That is true. Probably in his hand. A lot of the green cards he has to shambles into for that effect. And we have here the Newgate player dropping that King Do down on the board.
A King Do, and whoo, that's a lot of cards.
Yeah. Very large hand here. Going to be able to get a lot of swings. I wouldn't be surprised if he took that last life, though, through a swing. And you have Law here. Typically, the more red cards, it's fine because your Law pieces, like the 5-drop Laws, are both green. You can bounce anything on the board here for that. Typically, it's when you have the green pieces, it's kind of hard to get that Shambles effect working properly.
Yeah, your big bosses are all green usually, like you said, and then your rush are the red from the Zoro. However, those Zoros are not big enough. They're only 5s. They're not 6s. You need 6s for this Whitebeard matchup.
Yep. It will be necessary. And right now, Boat is active on our opponent's side. So next turn, this is going to be a 9K swing from the King Do, 8K with Leader, and a 7K swing with Marco if he chooses to do so, which is a lot of pressure.
That's scary. That's very scary.
It's quite a few cards from hand. Definitely showing why Whitebeard is an Emperor of the Sea.
Let's see how Greg will take care of this. How will he get out of this situation? It's not a good spot to be in. Like, yes, you have the 5 board, but Having 5 does not mean you win. Having 5 just says, okay, I can now have my leader effect active. But that's a large hand you have to get through just to win.
And yep, you're going to have Whitebeard here going down to 0 life with no problem whatsoever. The amount of cards in his hand is absolutely massive.
Yeah, he has no problem taking that life since on his next turn, he's taking that life anyway. So I'm going to save the cards in my hand and just eat it.
Now we have a 6k swing with the Dawn, trying to proc something. And yep, you're going to see this Marco come back through his ability, discarding another Moby Dick. We don't need more than one stage. Definitely a good use for that whatsoever.
Yep. Maximize your advantage. Maximize what cards you have. That's a 5k swing going at the Marco since it does require him to pitch another card to save the Marco.
It does indeed. And we didn't even use our leader's effect this turn. This is looking pretty scary.
This is looking pretty bad. All right, got KO'd and then discards another Moby. Wow, that's a lot of Moby Dicks in hand.
A large amount of them. And these swings are absolutely massive. If he has a way to kill that chopper somehow through a Seaquake or a Vista, this could be the game.
Yeah, for sure. Like, how many cards are in Law's hand right now? It doesn't. It looks like a lot. It does look like because nothing was used. He took 2 life, and there were a bunch of searchers.
He went first, so if I had to guess, probably about 7 or 8. 5 from the opening hand. Most of the cards he played replaced themselves, so he hasn't really lost except one card he played. Takes 2 life. Yeah. But even then, if you don't beat the Law player this turn, you effectively put him with little to no cards in hand, and you're still a 6k leader. And with that board state over there, it's not looking like you're going to push through for game with that.
Yeah. So it looks the best case scenario right now for the Whitebeard is chip at least 1, maybe 2 damage. If you're able to get 2 damage in, that's great. Chip 1 damage, that's just as good. That's more than enough. And then go for the win the following turn. But you need to set yourself up to have enough bodies, to have enough swings the following turn to get through, even if he has multiple blockers. So he does play the Whitebeard Pirates cards, allow him to search for a Whitebeard card.
The searcher.
Yep. Whitebeard characters, to be exact, not event. So it has to be. Oh, Vista. Vista here is great. He has to remove a chopper, and on next turn, it is a 5k swing.
A lot of lists in Japan are playing the Whitebeard Pirates at 2 or 3 for set 3. Not many in the Whitebeard decks for set 2, just because there was not a lot of targets. But grabbing a Vista off that looked very good here, especially for this following turn.
For sure. He is currently at 7 Dons available to use. How will he distribute it is the question.
So, yep, we're going to see a Vista here. KOing that chopper, we can only assume.
Chopper goes.
Is that his? That's his discard, okay.
Yeah, that's the try. It's all in one area.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit... That's okay.
I mean, that is his first card in there, to be honest, so
like
can't really say for sure.
Yeah, he did separate it out, though, which was good for telling the difference between those 2 spots. We're going to see an 8k swing either at leader or one of these characters. And I think if he's thinking this long, it's probably at leader.
I assume it's at leader.
Yeah, he's about 8, 9 cards in hand, so.
However, he is tapped out. Oh, my.
That's 4 cards. Wow.
He takes that one, the second one for sure.
He's just pressuring the life. Wow, 4 1Ks, not a single 2K in his hand there.
And that is the Whitebeard blocker.
Indeed,
It's
it
a 2-cost
is.
blocker, no counter, and 30k. However, on his turn, it is another 5k swing.
Yep. If it lives through this, I don't know if it blocks like a 6K. I don't know if we're pitching 4 there, but you are right. If it does make it to his turn, it is a 5K swing, which is pretty big.
Yeah, this board is quite massive. There's a essentially, if he survives this turn, you have a 5, 5, 9, 7, 8 with 10 dons available to distribute it however much he wants. And 2 dons open. There is the Bonnie. Will he find some laws?
We have the law player here using that Bonnie. Picking up a killer, so trying to get a blocker here, but I just don't see how this blocker is going to do anything against this board.
Yeah, it's not just the board at this point. It's also the life. You're down to 1 life left.
Yeah. And he's
Bopier is putting in work. Lots of it.
definitely showing why it is the better version to play, comparatively so, and why it's at the top tables here today.
Mm-hmm. At least for this current meta, it's a meta call for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Boat beer is 100% a meta call. If you're expecting to see mirrors, it's boat beer for 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you pick, since he did pick killer, it looks like he doesn't not have any laws in his hand.
Tapping 1 here, playing over a character.
He is going over.
For a chopper, another blocker. Yep, we're going to see that shambles effect. Or, I'm sorry, he's playing
he's
another...
playing it over
wow.
character again.
Another blocker. Yeah, I don't see how... we have to get at least 1 swing in. At least 1 bleeder. Or try to, at least. Because now he just gets a free turn of drawing a card and just swinging. Not having to play anything at all.
Yeah, and his hand size is still large. Very, very large.
So yeah, picking up the Bonnie here. Putting on a red character. A Vista.
Vista. Oh, that does hit the blocker.
Yep, it could have hit Vista or blocker. Either way, it's getting rid of a 5K swing the next turn.
Yep. 1 less to worry about. It's going 6. Interesting.
Just trying to pitch the most amount of cards possible here. Although I would have liked him to see probably trying to swing at that at the King Do, trying to get rid of as much as possible here. I wouldn't be surprised if we passed. Oh, we're probably playing that killer card we just added to our hand.
Yep. What's he giving up? He's giving up another Nami for the killer.
3 blockers. That is very good against this board with only 4 attacks. But if the Whitebeard player has a way to KO any single one of them, this could be potentially just devastating, especially at 1 life.
Oh, table 1 is finished. And we have our winner. Table 1 is Law. Law takes the win over Whitebeard.
So we're just going to see a 9K swing here, trying to use the blockers as much as possible.
Yep. There goes the first block, as expected.
This makes me think he doesn't have a way to pop one of the other blockers.
That's what it seems like as well. Or he doesn't have a rush or something.
Yeah.
Does he? Let's see. An 8K swing now.
Could be a Jozu. Jozu has rush, ace. Any of those cards would do it here. Ace would be
Double Jozu would be insane.
Double Jozu would also be insane. And yeah, he's just going to take that one.
Yeah. Goes
5 here.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe now you don't double Josie. That's still a hand.
It's 3 cards, it looks like. He's debating on whether to swing at this marker or not. I feel like that'd be your last swing, right? In case to have.
I would assume so too. But is he trying to go for game here? Or, like, I don't know what he's trying to do because I don't know.
He has the Law player down to 3 cards in hand. A swing for 7 would get most of it out. There's one Jozu coming down.
Yep.
Gaining that
and
rush.
Jozu will be a 7K swing with rush.
And eating that blocker right there. Another 7K swing. I think he might just have another Jozu in hand.
That's what I assume so. There's the other Jozu. But if the Law player gets out of this, is he able to counter out?
Oh,
he is not. That's just over right here. Just double Jozu for the win.
Wow.
And Whitebeard takes this match.
All right. Welcome back to our coverage of the CoreTCG Treasure Cup. We're here in round 8. And we are here with one of the pairs of undefeateds. It is Dylan and Steven, both playing Law. So we have the faded Law mirror for you today.
Yep. I know we wanted to show you guys the Luffy matchup. However, due to some difficulties, we'll not be going to that table yet. We'll be on this one for now. And however, if this one finishes ahead of time, before they finish, we will be jumping over to the other table. So first, we have this one, Law versus Law, and like Niko said, is still Dylan and Steven. They've both been playing phenomenally, making it this far, both playing mirrors and against all the other matchups.
Absolutely.
Hey, Yomi, you can't be biased like that. Luffy's winning.
So, as a reminder, if you have not joined us all day, here is what the Law leader does. So, you have the Law effect, basically utilizing the board, trying to get to those 5 characters. Let me get the timer up right here. And then bouncing to play your bigger bodies.
Oh, that's Magura. That's the first time I've seen Law play the deck.
I don't...
With the Nami as well. Starter deck, Nami, and Magura. So turn 1 getting 2 bodies immediately. That's a lot of value.
I think it's a different card than Magura. It's another one
Dogura.
Dogura. Yes.
I'm sorry. I keep saying Magura. It should be Dogura.
Yeah, I have not seen this card too often, but I know that some Law decks play it as a way to turbo out some of those bodies earlier in the game.
And I see he's doing it right here. Dylan with the Dogura. Turn 1, meaning turn 2, your opponent cannot attack. Dogura is safe and will survive an extra turn.
Wow. Playing up to 1 red character other than Dogura at the cost of 1 from your hand. So yeah, it allows him to play this body out, and going first, you're exactly right. He can't attack into it. That is incredibly powerful here. Really good for Dylan overall.
Yeah. And if he has this up, he can go triple 1 cost here, go into full 5 board. And that's a 2 for Dadan. Just as good, honestly. Gets you a search. 5. And it is an Otama. Otama goes to hand. He's now at 4 cards in hand. Does he have another 1 cost to play? He does. He plays Otama. He just wants to fill out the bodies and get him ready to shambles the next turn.
Absolutely. Just playing all those cards out there, trying to flip into that Law effect.
There is the Law swing, and then followed by Zoro and Chopper. So it looks like Dylan's using his dice to keep track of opponent's hand size.
Yeah, that 5 there is definitely keeping track of the opponent's hand size.
$5K swing, takes it.
Yep. Law here always taking those first couple swings, making sure that they can fill up that hand for when they dump the hand here.
All right. Would this be the first shambles of the game? 3. Oh my god. Think about it. This would be an insane play if he has it. 3 for Vista. Shambles for Law. Law plays the Vista again. That's a lot of value if he has it.
Yeah, that would be an insane amount of value here.
It looks like Dylan's teched out for the mirror specifically, if that's the case. But considering the number of cards, yeah.
So let's see. Dylan here thinking about this turn. If he has a way to remove the Zoro, it'd create a mass amount of tempo swing here, forcing Steven to just play out a lot more of his hand.
True. The Zoro is a body that he wants to remove. Sooner the better.
Absolutely.
The blockers can be dealt with later on, but the Zoro, sooner the better. Oh, 2 on the Dawn goes for a 5K swing.
Taking a card out of hand here, a restand Law. So he's going to play another 1 cost here.
1
a
for
beige.
beige.
Yep. And we're going to
And
see the
then
shambles
here's the
here.
shambles.
Picking up probably either a 2K or the Dan here.
I think you take the Dawn here since it is tapped. You don't want anything tapped on board.
Right. Picking that
For
up.
another body.
Putting down the Shambles Law to bounce back a card to hand, picking up the Otama.
And then he will play.
I'm assuming has to be either a Zoro, maybe Dadan again to just get another search going. And yep, it's going to be a rush Zoro. Attack for 5 here, pressuring the hand some more and trying to make him use those blockers. He's going to take that hit and go to 1.
That's really early to go to 1. It's 4 in the hand. We know 2 of them, Dadan and Otama.
You see here, Law is going to play the Bonnie here, top 5, trying to find either, I would assume, a bounce Law, the 5-drop that switches 1 out for the other one, or another Zoro here. This card is going to be very powerful in trying to clear the board in general. Yeah. Being a 6K body, on defense,
Well,
as well as being a 7K on offense, is going to help him clear a lot faster and more efficient than before.
for sure, because the the fact that it's easier to play being a 3 cost and we put multiple dons on it like this, that is an 8K body.
Yeah. 8K body for an incredibly cheap amount. And that means that if you block with the 5 cost law, you have to pitch at least 2 cards in hand. This is going to eat a
And
blocker here. And now you just have Steven here trying to navigate his way through this match. 2 Don here.
there's the shambles.
Yep. Shambles the Brook. Probably putting down a law, I would say.
Yep, the
Restand law
restand
for
law.
another 8K swing. I would assume this is probably going at Zoro here.
Same.
Where was that swing? Is he okay? He's still figuring out what to do with the swing here. And yep, that Zoro definitely getting KO'd there. And you see the swing on the boards here. Typical of the Law matchup, you'll have one Law player start being more aggressive, trying to get the life out. But on the crackback, you have the other Law trying to control the board.
Yeah.
And so now you see that it's not going to take much for Dylan to rebuild his board, but he still has to invest on into that as opposed to swinging at the rested board. And Steven has 2 1-drop blockers in play with a grip of cards in hand. It will be very hard to try to push through to get hits off life and also to clear this board.
He's thinking really hard now. Because now that he has to play 2 more bodies before he can shambles, we know he has to Don, like you said.
Yeah.
But what is the follow up though? The Don is still a gamble type of card because you have to
attacking with the Nami here and just letting the Bonnie die. That lets me think that Steven probably has another Bonnie in hand or an efficient way to search. And we have the Otama here. What is it targeting? The Zoro probably.
Zoro. So Zoro goes down to 4.
Yeah, it's going down to 4 here. It's going to be kind of tricky. He does have 2 blockers. But going down to 4 does help. Nami effect to attach 1 to leader. 6 into the Zoro. It's going to eat a blocker. And yeah, this is another issue for Steven here. If we're swinging into the Zoro and we're defending it with blockers, we're going to lose most of our board regardless here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to rebuild, which is more Dawn commitment to rebuilding the board and having that shambles effect be active for the next turn.
This is definitely not exactly the ideal spot you want to be in. However, he does need to commit Dons if he wants to be able to out the Zoro at this point. He's committed the Otama already. He needs to. Is he going to commit the Magura into Zoro? He's committing the Law into Zoro now for 6K swing.
Definitely trying
let
to.
Let the Zoro go.
Yep.
And we know he has the Zoro in his hand.
He has a Zoro. Yeah. He has another 3-drop 5K Zoro in hand, ready to replay for the next turn. But more importantly, Steven didn't use that blocker there, meaning that rebuilding the board here might be easier for him than if he were to block that swing. And now you have Dylan trying to figure out his best line here. I think he was trying to do a play of using Shambles plus maybe Jet Pistol here. But now he just doesn't have enough Dawn to do it. He's right now trying to figure out his best line.
and also with a limited hand size, with knowing one in hand, just so it says, all right, with the remaining cards in hand, what else can you do?
Right. And here we
One for
go.
Mach, he's going for the damage then.
I think he's going to buff up the Dagura here.
That is a 5k Dagura now. It's going for a 7k swing. Chances are that will eat up a blocker.
You know, ideally speaking, if you have these cards, the Dan, the Magra, the Makino, and the Dagra, they're all supposed to be in a similar type of deck. And this seems to be the unique setting for it. The Dagra plays the 1-drops, Makino going to rest and buff up another one.
Yeah.
This is quite a bit of damage coming through here, and a lot of pressure on Steven to kind of respond to it. The best part is that most of Dylan's board is tapped. We'll see for how long, though, based on the... Ooh, is this a huge swing? Wow.
8k swing. So that's either eating up a blocker or eating up 2Ks from hand.
And wow. It's either... He only has 2 cards in hand, too. I wouldn't be surprised we just see a Law effect and not put anything down too, just to protect the board as well as to pick up a 2k if we need to be, but also for follow-up in the next turn. So let's see what happens.
He could do the Law effect, bounce the Law, play the
Dan.
The Dan.
Yeah.
And force your opponent to deal with the immediate board, the immediate threat, before they can do anything else. And that's a block, so force them to really out the board next turn, as well as there's
this exact play.
There is exactly what was just said.
Protecting that Law from any damage from the leader as well as the restand, and he's netting a card here, getting a Nami. So we went from having 2 cards in hand to now 3. So this Law effect with playing Searchers is very, very efficient with keeping a decent hand size or keeping even netting cards off of the effect. That's a skill that we don't see very often, but there it shines greatly. Bouncing a card and then playing a Searcher to refresh it, we net a card in hand while keeping the board at 5.
Right. But it's 7 cards in hand. 7 cards in hand with 8 opened on. What can you do with it? Will he be able to play enough cards as well as be able to apply the Law effect to Shambles again?
We will see here. He is taking a second here. Trying to figure out the best play. These are not easy matches to go through.
Yeah, especially in a mirror where the deck is extremely aggressive. They have rush. They have damage. They do exactly what Law is afraid of. Law is afraid of aggression because of how feeble it is, starting at 4 life. That 1 extra life does make a difference in whether a rush game would be able to win or not.
Yes, it does indeed. And we'll see how that pans out here. Oh.
Dawn drop.
So, yep, we see a Dawn going on the leader here and potentially a Dawn going on the restand Law. I think if we're going to hit face at all this turn, it just has to go there in fear of a Jet Pistol out of life.
But I do believe instead of going face, it's definitely clear as much board as possible at this point. That is a fearsome board to witness right now.
Yep, this should be a 5k swing at either Nami or Makino here.
Priority-wise, it's probably Makino, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of 1-cost red cards on the board. Although that Nami does net the Law player an extra Dawn each turn just for existing.
Yeah.
Using the rest of Dawn is very powerful. We saw that last turn with him being able to swing a 6K into the 4K. And yeah, not a lot of decks play this Nami currently. But I think moving forward with the fact of being able to play the board and getting a 6K swing in, this card just seems to shine.
Whoa, he's going at life, actually.
Yeah. And we'll see
Now, okay,
here.
that I wasn't ready for.
Well, we know that he has a restand law, or I'm sorry, not restand law, a bounce law and a Nami in hand. So he only knows 1K currently.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if this turns out to punish him here. And we
2
might
for
have
Brook.
a restand law here. But we can't build.
He's going to go double 9K, maybe? Yep, he's going for the aggression. He wants to aggro in and hope to be able to survive the follow-up turn.
Oh, wow. If this is just triple blocker, shambles, restand law, we might be in a difficult spot if we're Dylan. Shambles. Wow.
Ooh.
And this board state is nuts coming from Steven here. We have a restand law that's tapped, a bounce law, blocker law that's there, 2 Tony Chopper, and a Zoro that can swing 4/7 next turn.
That is big. So the match completely swung over just from that single play. Now that's 2 life. It's now 1 life each. Both players have full board. However, the presence of each board is vastly different. You have one side, big attackers with blockers. Other side, just little guys.
And now we're going to buff up the Dogger here. Get in 4/5, trying to limit that hand size. We just knew he played 3, 4, 5 cards. He has a 2K in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, this is going to eat a blocker for 5. We only need to get 2 swings in. It could be pretty challenging, though.
Very. There's another 5.
Law is the king of 5s.
There's a 2K out of hand. All right.
Oh, he had 2 2Ks. He bounced the Brook with the
law.
The blocker law.
Yes.
Yeah. So now he has a Makino in hand, so he has another 2K. So 6s and 5s won't get him there. But now he needs to clear the board, I think. More importantly, I think that's what he has to do.
I think the board will get cleared as he goes on because the choppers will block.
Right.
He forces the blocks. Now, question is how he approach it is the main thing.
Yeah. Another 5K.
That's another 5.
These all have to be going at lead. There's no other targets for it.
I would assume so, yeah.
And it's going to eat a blocker here. Exactly like you were saying, he's going to try and pressure the life, and as he's going along, the choppers are going to get KO'd because of it.
Now, he has 7 remaining. Thinking about it, what can that... Is that 7 or is it 8?
It looks like 7.
Yeah. 7. Yeah, because he still has 1 extra Dawn that's not flipped yet. So that's 7 Dawn remaining. Suppose he has 2 to shambles here, but he needs to have a Rush Zoro. Rush Zoro is the only way to really apply 3 more hits in.
Yeah, and we'll see here. He's looking at the hand. We're playing overbodies now. Another Makino. Wow.
Makino on the Nami, and then he's going to pump the Nami.
With its own effect for a 5K swing. That is very powerful on its own.
For sure.
And we have 6 Dawn left.
Thinking about it, so... Does he have enough? So... Four cards in hand. This is scary.
This is definitely in a weird position here for Steven. Putting him down to 2 cards.
Yeah, he's definitely maximizing value here. We know 2 cards in Dylan's hand right now.
Yep.
And there's 4 cards there. We know 2 of them.
We know that Steven has a 2K in his hand. So I think you have to shift focus here and try to clear one of the laws at least.
Does he take this hit or will he block this hit?
Man, this is a lot for both players here. Definitely tanking for
this is peak Law matchup right now. They're getting their game, they're thinking about it, and this is not easy.
Man.
So he took the hit.
Wow.
Now he needs to get 2 swings in because one is going to get blocked. We know that for sure.
What do we have that we can potentially do here? We know he has a 2K, so the swing has to be for more than 7.
Mm-hmm.
A very intense game here.
Quite.
I think Dylan has to establish blockers on the board now and try to hold back. I don't know what the angle is here.
Yeah, because we don't know what's in his hand besides the 2 cards. One of them is a blocker Law. We know that. And the other one is Nami. Yeah. So he can, I guess he shambles here for sure. So he can establish the blocker Law.
I'm assuming you'd pick up 2Ks.
Yep. And take out the other 2K. Yep. And if he has a Zoro, I go with the Zoro. Yep.
Ooh.
Go with the Zoro.
7 at lead. Definitely forcing the block here.
Block with 2 cards. Personally, if he had more cards in hand that he's not going to use, I'd just go for another, add an extra 1K in.
Some of these Law decks do play Rad Beam in the 50. Maybe Dylan is on a couple that he's trying to prepare for.
Yeah, he might be saving it for the guarantee I will live, doesn't matter what you do kind of moment.
Man, this is going to force Steven to pitch 2 cards if he doesn't block.
Yes. And if he blocks, he's pushing himself further away from shambling.
Yeah. Very tough position to be in for both players here. And there it is. 2 cards away. A Dadan and a Makino.
So we knew the Makino was there, but the Dan we did not. Now he's down to 1 card. He passed his turn. 2 up, 3 in hand, I believe.
We know that it's Nami.
Or 4.
Or 4. We know
4.
that it's
4 in hand.
Makino, Otama, plus a Nami. So 1 unknown.
And 1 mystery card.
There's quite a bit. 5 cards in hand.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, 5. So we're just doing bad math. We're just couldn't count. What's counting? We don't know how to count.
If this is Punk Gibson he's holding up, that would be kind of insane.
Oh, no way.
If it is.
No way, right?
How punished does he get for not swinging the Zoro first? Pretty much very punished. With 2 cards in hand, Punk Gibson would be such a blowout.
For sure. The fact that he left 2 up, we don't know what he has. It could be Rad Beam. It could be
on that Law.
Ooh, just take it out instantly. Yeah, he could have. he could have Gibson. He could have Red Hawk. He could have Rat Beam. It could be anything.
Yeah.
So
Makino
7K
plus
swing.
Nami.
Yep. We knew that was coming down.
We're down to 3 cards in hand. It's a rest of 4 lore.
Yeah.
But it also has a trigger just to rest a character.
There's another 7K in.
Man, we still have our leader plus Chopper if we have like a Makino in hand. Man, this is just a 7K swing.
The 7s are strong. 7s are really scary right here. So he needs to be able to counter out this plus 1 more if he wants to live. But that's assuming the last card in his hand is not a Zoro.
And just to update, it looks like our table 1 match is over with. It looks like Luffy won, advancing to the finals, beating Boatbeard.
We'll be seeing a Luffy after all.
And wow, getting out of the swing, giving him 8K. Otama plus a restand Law.
And we know the last card in his hand, I do believe... Actually, no, we don't know what the last card is. Because he showed Otama, he showed the Makino already, and he showed the Nami.
Yeah.
So last card in hand. If that last card in hand is Zoro, he wins right here. Takes the last hit. Okay.
And this
8K
swing. Does he have
he
a Rad Beam or 2-2Ks? That's 2-2Ks. Wow. 2-2Ks out of the...
double 2K.
Wow.
Wow. That is game. Dylan takes the win.
Over Steven. What an insane finish overall. Having 2-2Ks. Wow.
Last life had to be 2K or that was it.
Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We are here today covering the finals of the CoreTCG Treasure Cup. We have...
I'm excited. I'm so excited right now.
Yeah, very exciting finals here. We have Dylan Chu playing Law in the top and John playing Luffy. A deck I didn't think to see in the finals, but here we are.
I'm excited to see how John does it. Like, how did he build a deck and how he made it this far with Luffy? And quite frankly, I hope he takes it.
I hope so as well. Well, I don't know. I did say I hope Law would win earlier, but as we see here, we see both players getting ready to start this final round today.
Yep. So I'm sure, as you can tell, I am Team Luffy here. How about you?
I'm Team Law. I definitely said before, when it was our top 4, I said I was really hoping that Law would take it today. My chances were cut in half, though, when both Law players played each other in the next round. So
that is also true.
I'm going to stick to my gut feeling here, and I'm going to say that Law's going to take it out. So that is what I'm going to go with. And it looks like players here are getting started. They're resolving mulligans. Apologies about the zoom in on John's camera. That is the best we have.
Yeah. he is making sure his hand is visible, so then you're able to play the game and not be able to see it. On the stream, it's a little more zoomed in than what we can see, so it's fine. Everything is still visible on the screen.
If there's anything you guys need to see, or if anything becomes a little bit harder to see in general, let me know. I will do my best to try and accommodate. But we're going to try and keep it transparent with you guys and make sure that we are showing you the best possible imagery. So it looks like the Law player Dylan is going first here, and we have him running out a Chopper, one cost. And we saw last round, Dylan is also running the Dogra in his deck that can definitely put some pressure on some of these decks.
Yeah, just an extra body makes all the difference. And he's playing 2 for the Dawn, and the Dawn will now search. Takes a Otama.
Yep, definitely grabbing a 1-drop here. And both these players have played through 8 other rounds of Swiss to get to this point. And we will see who will get it.
Yep. And it looks like both players, they're actually locals to each other. So you have a locals final as well.
Indeed, that is what I heard before. And so we have Law here hitting in for 5s, trying to get that damage as low as possible.
He takes the life. It is not a trigger, or it is a trigger and opts not to use it.
Dan here for 5. Top 5 here. Hoping to get a 1-drop red card, and he's thinking about it. He has some options for sure, I think.
Well, if he's thinking there are options. Question is which one? The deck is filled with 1-cost red cards. So what does he need more? Does he need a Dogger for the extra body, or does he need like a Nami, or what is it?
Definitely going to try and find a body here just to play. If he has a Nami in hand, Dagura or would be beneficial. Playing 2 bodies out at once. However, the Dagura would just die to the swings because he didn't play it on his first turn. So Luffy could definitely just swing a Dan into it. And there we go. Him grabbing the Dagura here.
But he can still play it and opt not to use the effect. It is an active main effect.
That is correct. He could also do that, trying to limit the size of his board, but he's going to play the beige instead, opting to use it next turn for a 2-drop play, playing that card and also a Nami or another 1-drop red from hand.
Yes.
So the Luffy player here definitely has options. Lots of cards in hand he can choose from.
Will he opt to be aggressive here and start swinging in before playing cards, or he play cards? He goes in for the 5k swing. Law will take the first hit.
Great job from these players at the top tables, recognizing that Law is going to take as much damage as possible early, about 2 hits before they start to pump the brakes and counter out of those swings. So it really doesn't matter how much you're attaching and what forth. And we have John here throwing that a Nico Robin, attaching a Don that he had for turn. He had 4 open, so he attached 1, and then using the Luffy effect to attach another one for another 5k swing.
He's definitely being aggressive, trying to get in, which is definitely how a lot of people are supposed to play that matchup against Law. Because if you're able to speed up, remove bodies, put in the pressure, it makes it so that they play differently. They either play just as fast to aggro in, or they have to remove your board. But let's see, what will Dylan do? Will he pitch a card to counter? Will he block? Or will he take the life?
Looks like the dice says 2 there.
It should be 3, but yeah,
but maybe
it's just accidental, I guess. Does card in hand matter more? He pitches the Don to counter out. He values the blocker more and the life. And then passing turn. Here we go.
And thank you to John here getting some dice, notifying how many cards in hand, etc. It looks like he has 4 cards in hand with this setup.
I think it's more than
It's
4.
definitely not 14 or 11.
I don't know. It might. No, it's not 11 for sure.
Maybe he
So
missed.
first swing, it does pass through.
Oh.
Oh no, the Dawn. The Dawn should be under.
Oh no.
It's not in the trash.
Hopefully he knows.
I think he's nervous.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. I'm sure he'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, a lot of players do make that mistake where they just move. They move all your Dawn with your character into the trash because that's what a lot of people do usually. They just pick up everything. It's all right, they go to the trash. But the Dons actually go back into the Dawn area.
So here we go. And Otama coming down.
Otama?
3 Dawn
and
for Vista. Otama visiting the Niko Robin. Yeah, I don't think he knows.
He'll probably catch it as he plays cards, right?
I would hope that he would recognize he has 4 Dawn as opposed to 6 Dawn. Oh, no. Do you mind chiming in there and letting him know that they're in the drop?
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. John, it's in the drop. It's in your trash. It's in your trash. Your Dons. Your Dons are in your trash. Yeah. All right, there you go. There you go.
Yep, he should have 6. All right, cool. Easy fix there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why he picked up 2 extra from the Don deck, but and then he realized, wait a second, there's 2 in the trash, so he went and just grabbed them from the trash instead.
Yep. So we're gonna see Luffy here, probably trying to clear that Dadan. Seems like an easy target. Could also see him rushing life here. And yep, hitting the Dadan, trying to lower the amount of cards on the board here.
Yeah, he needs to be able to accommodate for it, because with the normal cards on the board, he needs to start clearing or going at life. He goes for a Robin, followed by a Vista play, double play. The Vista will out the Vista instantly. He doesn't want to see the Vista being replayed to out the Robin again.
Niko Robin, just one of those cards that will take over the game if the later or the longer it stays on the board.
It looks like 8 cards in hand.
I think he's trying to find the number there. Nope, it's 4. I think he just has double sleeved cards.
He might be counting his opponent's cards.
Oh, that also might be true.
Oh, it's 7 cards in John's hand, and he's using the dice for his opponent's cards.
Okay.
Sorry. So if you need a card count, look at the opposite side. I do like how they're keeping track of the cards in hand this way. This way, our spectators can see it too, even when their hand is stacked.
Absolutely. It does help. So we're going to see a Nami come down here. This Nami playing such a good role for Dylan in his last match.
It has.
Just attack.
Those extra thousands make a huge difference.
Yep, and even combined with Makino, making it a 5k swing on its own with its own effect as well as the Makino. Absolutely massive here. We're going to see here.
And does use the Nami effect. Putting it under Law. So now it's a 7k swing.
Yep, a 7k swing on leader here.
Now, does he take it? Or will he counter out? He does have 7 cards in hand. That's a lot. And this is somewhat early on.
This is a lot of thinking here coming from John. Just thinking about, can he take this life and stay at a safe distance, right? If he goes to
Yeah.
2, how threatened is he from some of these other swings that can come down for 7s or even 5s?
I would be extremely threatened being at 2 against Law, especially an aggressive type of Law deck where I play with Zoro's, Restand Law, and then Shambles Law. They have everything.
And there's that
There's
Dagura coming
Dagura,
down.
Shambles right here.
Shambles probably going to bounce back either.
I assume the Otama, right? Oh,
Oh, he has a red
he's
card
trying
in
to play a
hand.
red.
Is this going to be a Zoro coming down here? Oh,
Oh, it's
Luffy.
Luffy.
Wow.
Unblockable Luffy goes 8K into life.
That puts Dylan at such a low amount of cards in hand, and he had to bounce a beige, so we know that one card in his hand just doesn't have any counter on it whatsoever.
Yep. So assuming he'd be 2K counters right here. Yep.
2 2Ks going to 9.
Spade and a Tama. That is a 9K, does survive. We know one card in Dylan's hand is no counter, and there's 2 cards left. We don't know the other one. There is a Chopper on the board, however. But that Chopper, I don't think that's living. We have a Robin on board.
Yeah, I'm not seeing how this Chopper is going to get through this Niko Robin swing. Man.
Let's see. What would be ideal here? Definitely trying to kill the Luffy. That's number 1. Question is, how much over should he do? Should he make it 6K exact, or should he go 8K at it?
I mean, we know that Dylan only has a dead card in hand, right? The beige just has no counter on it. So a 6K swing, if he just pitches the last card in hand, I don't know how he could potentially come back from this.
That's true. So 6K might be the best way to go at it. So go for 6 and then start splitting your cards apart.
It looks like it's just going to be a jet pistol coming down. Wow.
It just pistols it. Wow.
Trying to keep up the
At
aggression
that one,
on
I didn't
lead.
see coming.
Yeah, trying to keep up the aggression on lead.
Yeah. So he wants to go for the leader swing instead. And the Luffy effect on the Robin, that is a 5K swing, allow him to pop one character with 3K or less.
Probably going to pop the Chopper here, I would assume. Or the Nami.
He pops the Nami.
That Nami does get him a lot of value, so that does make sense that he would pop that one.
Yeah.
As well.
He's not worried about the Chopper. He's like, all right, that Chopper is just gonna sit there anyway, and if he blocks it, he blocks of it. So that is one less body he has to worry about if he ends up using it. So he goes for the value control rather than the blocker control.
5K swing on lead here.
Another 5.
Wow, he's just taking
Takes the 5
hits.
You know when they're taking 5s, that's when it's not looking good.
Oh, a Rush Zoro coming down. At these pivotal turns where you're going to 1 life, the Zoro always feels like it hurts way more.
Especially when you know that deck does play unblockable Luffy. So if that unblockable Luffy comes down and you're at no life, that's when it's really trouble.
And the Gordon here to combo with the Niko Robin on the board if it lives.
Yep. So 4 cards left in hand, 2 life. What will Dylan do?
Dylan has to find a way to establish the board. At least he has 3 characters in play, so Shambles isn't that far away from us. Hopefully he has a blocker law.
He dropped the law, on restand law. Does he have the blocker law? That is the biggest thing. Does he have a blocker law? Does he have bounties? Is he able to search?
And Dylan here having to tank for a second.
He's spreading out the cards, showing what was used.
And yep, that Niko Robin will be getting KO'd here through the 6K swing. And you just have to see that that is the main way he had to go about it. Clearing that Niko Robin alleviates so much pressure, makes it so that your board will stay alive longer, and it's going to make that Gordon less and less valuable.
Mm-hmm. No, but then he needs to be able to either win this turn, which honestly it's unlikely since he went for the Robin KO. So he needs to go for board clear and be able to survive a follow-up turn attack. Is he able to though? He's using up a lot of cards. He's using up those 2K counters. Those 2K counters are vital to surviving.
So we'll have to see here. He could definitely clear the Zoro. All he needs is 2 Dawn attachment to the Dagura to hit for 7. He can go even bigger here if he really wants to. Yep, we're going to see here a swing for 8 at either the Zoro. I would assume the Zoro if it's this big. Yep, and the Zoro falls there, leaving Luffy with just 2 characters on the board. And if we see a shambles here into a blocker Law, it could be very good for Dylan. Let's see here. Wow, restand Law with nothing to restand.
That's tough for sure. Like he needed to get the body out.
He just needed the body out there. I agree with that 100%. He needs the body in order to push for game next turn. He can't win with these smaller bodies on the board, as well as bouncing a 2K to hand.
Yeah, but right here we do have 2 blocker, a 2K in hand. And then going up to, and 1 mystery card going against 2 bodies and leader, and we have no idea how many more or if any rush cards in hand.
Is he going to use this? He's swinging for 2 at the Dagura here. Definitely trying to get some value from it before he bottom decks it. And it will KO that card. And you are at only 1 life as Law.
Yep.
Luffy has to play super cautious, though. If he tries over...
There's the white bear. Oh, my goodness.
Newgate coming down.
And then using Luffy's effect plus the 1 available, that is a 5K swing at life.
Wow. What a combination of cards there. Just single-handedly applying pressure while playing one of the best red bodies you can in the late game.
If not the best.
Yeah. So we're going to have
not just one of them. It's one of the best.
Wow. A 5K swing here followed by a 7K swing. This is too much pressure for only having 2 cards in hand.
Yeah. So he either counters this or he has to lose a blocker. At this point, I think you just counter it. I think you counter this and then next swing you take it. Yep. He has to hope that he's able to make something out of this turn. He needs to remove the bodies. And because we know it's very unlikely he's going for a game because he has to go He has to get 3 swings in through a 7K leader.
Now Dylan here is just sitting here. He's at 0 life. He has to find a way to try to push through for game. But at 4 cards in hand. Or he doesn't have to go for game if he does have blockers in hand.
Yeah, he needs to either have blockers in hand, or if he has blockers in hand, you go for the board clear. Board clear and then chip in whatever damage you can to the leader. And that's a 7K at leader, dropping 1 card from hand.
Pitching on Nami here. Showing the power of this Edward Newgate, just buffing the leader by 2. Man, it's looking like Luffy might take it.
Definitely is looking like Luffy will take at this rate.
Man, it's really unfortunate. Law has not seen that many searchers at all during this game, and it's showing the impact of not having them.
A 4K Otama swing into...
Most definitely the Gordon.
Definitely Gordon, because Gordon is definitely menacing.
6K swing into the Vista. Or is it going to be for more?
I think it'll be at the Vista because you can't go into the leader with that.
Right.
So
and
Vista
now
goes.
We do have 2 blockers.
But one of them essentially doesn't exist because of Newgate.
Yep.
So he needs to have another body, another blockers to survive this.
I think that this is going to be it.
Plays 1 for Chopper. He does have the extra blocker. Okay. That is enough to survive at least 1 extra turn, unless there's another card to
Looking
get
like
out
a
of this.
shambles here. Pick up Otama. Does he have a base to play? Wow. Restand Law to bounce that one up so that his only target is face. Now, does John have the 5-drop Luffy?
5-drop Luffy, Vista. What you got? Show us what you got.
Let's see it here.
He moved 9. Is that another? It's another white beer. So then we're using Luffy's effect. That is a 12K swing, allowing him to pop 1 blocker. He has to block, of course, at this point.
He played another Newgate.
He goes for, all right, I'm going for safety. You can't kill me through double Newgate. And then a 7K leader swing. He has to dump both cards or block again.
So I think if Law here is going to push for game, which I think he has to now, depending on what's in hand, based on it, if he has nothing in hand to play, his best line might be just 3 9K swings, right? 4 on lead, 3 on each Law. That's 3 9K swings, but I don't know if that's good enough.
I don't think it's good enough at this point. We're at the point where those 9K swings is not enough. What other swings can he do? He can do 7, 7, 7, leaving 6 open. No, that's not enough either. I was seeing if he can do another restand Law, but I think it's just, he can't do that.
I think it's just 3 9K swings, and just hope that your Luffy opponent has all bricks in hand. We did see a match earlier today where Luffy had 7 cards in hand, only 2K counter in hand, so
it's definitely possible.
But you have to attach a Dawn to those Laws before you swing so you don't get pistoled. Yep, we see that happening there. I wonder if he's going to go for a 7+ more route.
He put himself out of the pistol range, like you said. That's number one. And
yep, he's going to go 9s. He has to.
Yeah, 9. First 9K.
Do you have it, opponent?
Does he play with his feelings and take hits until the last 9K, or does he have the counters now to just stop it?
He
has it now.
Wow, 2-2Ks. And that is going to wrap it
over.
up. You have Luffy here winning the CoreTCG Treasure Cup.
What can you say? It's only right. Monkey D. Luffy does become the Pirate King.
He does.
He had one more white beard.
Wow. And the life was Red Hawk. Wow, Red Hawk was the last life. Wow.
Red Hawk Vista.
Damn it. Damn it.